Chapter 524. Burn paper offerings to contact you. Although Yoon Chujo was being chatty on the outside, she was constantly calculating the situation in her mind. If she ran away now, the murderous gang would not let the Yoon family off. She could only revoke the contract when she went to the so-called employer. However, the person who hired the murderer to kill her would inevitably attack the Yoon family again. She had to think of a perfect plan. It would be great if the assassins could go into the business of protecting people. You guys are not taking such a lucrative job? Isn't this task of protecting people better than that of shouting and killing? Moreover, it is a sustainably profitable business. Go back and suggest it to your chief. Maybe your chief will reward you well. Little girl, what you said makes sense. I will suggest it to our chief. Goldface's heart was moved. What this little girl said made sense. What was the difference between protecting people and killing people? In the end, it was all for the sake of making money. Really? That's great. If your League of Assassins can accept the business of protecting someone, you must tell me. I will be your first big client. Yoon Chujia's eyes sparkled as she said happily. The corner of Goldface's mouth twitched slightly. You are about to die, all right? The first one to tell you. Do we burn paper offerings to contact you? All right. Let's get down to business. What did you say about Peak Master Yuan having an illegitimate daughter just now? Goldface asked. That Peak Master Yuan usually looks like a gentleman, but my fiery eyes still discovered something fishy. That Xue Piaoyu is his illegitimate daughter. Yoon Chujo said angrily. She thought to herself, Peak Master Yuan, I'm so sorry. Who asked you to spoil Xue Piaoyu so much? I can only ridicule you. Goldface took out a jade slip and after flipping through it, he frowned. That's not right. Xue Piaoyu is the biological granddaughter of the Xue family's patriarch. How could she be Peak Master Yuan's illegitimate daughter? TCH. Of course you have to cover up such things. If you did something wrong, would you make a big fuss about it? Unless that person is stupid. Yoon Chujo pouted. Then how did you come to know of such a secret? Goldface was skeptical. I have to start from Xue Piaoyu, that little bitch, being jealous of my beauty. Everyone, are you shameless? Who didn't know of Xue Piaoyu from the Linghua sect, the famous beauty in the Qingxian continent? You. Although her facial features were okay, her small body was like a bean sprout, and she was crazy. Why would Xue Piaoyu be jealous of you? Look at your expressions. You don't believe me. You know Feng Ming, right? In fact, that little bitch Xue Piaoyu likes senior brother Feng Ming. But senior brother Feng Ming always played cards with me. Not just him but Gang Yi and Shi Xian too. Thus, that little bitch Xue Piaoyu repeatedly framed me. How could such a smart and intelligent person like me fall into her trap? Not only did she fail to set me up, she even lost a bet with me. The result of losing the bet was that she had to voluntarily give up the qualifications to be a successor disciple. Continued Yoon Chujo. Thus, Peak Master Yuan shamelessly came looking for me. Using both carrot and stick, I didn't compromise. In the end, he cried and told me that Xue Piaoyu was his illegitimate daughter, and begged me to let Xue Piaoyu go this time. I'm just too kind, so my heart softened and I didn't pursue the matter further. Otherwise, that little bitch Xue Piaoyu would have long been demoted to an inner sect disciple. Yoon Chujo said passionately. Chapter 525. The two of them were good friends. Seeing that Yoon Chujo spoke very confidently and did not stutter, the gold-masked man could not help but believe her. He then asked, then who are the two people in the Linghua sect who are gay? I'm so thirsty. Pour me a cup of tea. It'll moisten my throat before continuing. Yoon Chujo did not have the self-awareness of being a hostage at all. The man with the golden mask gestured for his subordinate to pour Yoon Chujo a cup of tea. Yoon Chujo gulped down the tea and said, Give me a few more snacks. My stomach is growling. The man with the golden mask endured it for a while, but he still got someone to bring a plate of snacks for Yoon Chujo. After Yoon Chujo ate it slowly, she then said, The ones who are gay in the Linghua sect are none other than Elder Xiao and Elder Chu. What? You mean Xiao Pancher and Chu Buley? The two of them are actually in that kind of relationship? The man with the gold face mask stood up from his chair in shock. Yeah, why are you so agitated? Do you know them? Yoon Chujo asked in confusion. Who in the Qingxian continent doesn't know Elder Xiao and Elder Chu? The two of them are well known in the Qingxian continent. How can the two of them be in that kind of relationship? You must be spouting nonsense. The man with the gold face mask felt that this was too absurd. Yun Chujo thought to herself, humph, it's this kind of absurd and impossible thing that aroused your curiosity. Little Pincher, little Chu, I'm sorry. But as your elder, it's not a big deal for me to make up a few words about you. All right. It seems that if I don't give you some concrete evidence, you won't believe me. Did the two of them not get married and have children? Yun Chujo said with a confident expression. Goldface nodded. It's true that the two of them didn't get married and have children. However, many cultivators have never gotten married. This doesn't prove anything. Did you notice a specific detail? Elder Shao and Elder Chu would go everywhere together if the Linghua sect had any missions that required them to go out and train. Why was this so? It was because Master Xianyuan knew about their relationship, so he was creating a chance for them to be alone. Our Master Xianyuan is very understanding. Goldface still felt that this wasn't substantial evidence, so he said, this doesn't mean that the two of them have a special relationship, right? If you don't believe it, then forget it. In any case, the two of them are always flirting with each other. I think it's just not normal. Let me tell you guys about that old fellow Du Gai now. TSK, that old fellow embarrassed himself in the Wuwei Tower a few days ago. Yun Chujo blabbered on and on about Du Gai. Yun Chujia's expression was lively. Moreover, she was talking about some things that aroused people's curiosity. The people of the League of Assassins were all listening with great interest. One of the assassins saw Yun Chujo mentioning cards repeatedly and asked, little girl, what are the cards you're talking about? Cards are a good thing. You'll get addicted after playing it once. Now the people of the Linghua sect all like to play cards. It's a pity that I don't have spiritual power now. Otherwise, I'll take them out from my storage ring and let you guys have a look. How about this? You guys get me some wooden cards and I'll make one for you guys on the spot. I'll save it for when you guys go out on missions in the future to kill time, Yun Chujo said with a smile. Goldface was also a little curious. Since the mission this time had been successfully completed, it was inevitable for them to relax a little. Therefore, he did not stop his team. Chapter 526. Assassins and hostages playing cards together. The assassins brought over some wooden cards of the same size. Yun Chujo wrote and drew on them, and soon, she produced a deck of playing cards. There are many ways to play these cards. I'll quickly teach you the simplest one first. When you've learned it, I'll teach you Fight the Landlord. It's especially fun. Yun Chujo said, beaming with joy. She figured that Enfeng must be following her from behind. He had suddenly appeared back in the fire cave. Although she did not ask him to, Di Biming must have sent him to protect her in secret. She distracted the members of the League of Assassins, so they would not find out that Enfeng was tailing them. She was still too weak. If she could escape from death this time, she would definitely train hard and never read those dirty books again. But it shouldn't be a problem to read them occasionally, right? The assassins quickly learned how to play cards and were all eager to give it a try. When they saw that Goldface did not stop them, they asked Yun Chujo to make a few more cards. You guys are quite bad at this. If you play with me, I will win until you don't even have any undergarments left. Yun Chujo pouted and said. Those killers would not be convinced, so they chose 3 people to play with Yun Chujo. Yun Chujo stretched out her hands at the golden masked man and said, Goldface, how can I play without money? At least give me a few spirit stones as an information fee so that I can play with them. The man in the golden mask thought for a moment and handed over a few spiritual stones to Yun Chujo. Yun Chujo thanked him with a smile and started to play with his team of assassins. When the man in the golden mask saw the scene in front of him, the corners of his eyes could not help but twitch. Assassins and hostages playing cards together? Why did this situation look so strange? However, these subordinates were tense all day long. It was rare for them to be so happy, so they could relax a little. Even if the people of the Yun family returned to the Linghua sect to report for help, they would still need at least a day to conduct a rescue. Since they dared to accept this business deal, they were not afraid that the Linghua sect would cause trouble for them. Yun Chujia's card skills were pretty good. In a short while, she had won a pile of spirit stones. She smiled and said to Goldface, Goldface, your League of Assassins doesn't need to do this line of work at all. If you accept this business of protecting people and open a casino, not only will you earn more than killing people, but you can also let these big brothers live a normal life. Not to mention you guys can marry and have children. You only know how to kill people all day long. How much time have you lost potentially being able to enjoy life? People live just to be happy. Look at me, I'm about to die but I'm still so happy. So you guys really have to persuade your leader. If it doesn't work, you guys let me live for another day or so. Oh, go and persuade him. Anyway, I'm also going to die. If he gets angry, he can just kill me. Yun Chujia's words hit the heart of the assassins. Who the hell would want to live like this? Every day it was just killing and killing. Every day people around them would die. Other than killing, eating, and sleeping, there was nothing else to do. They were just tools for killing. They were not human at all. However, these killers had all consumed the League of Assassins' poison. They had to take the antidote regularly every month. Therefore, even though they had lived this kind of life for a long time, they could not help it. They could only live this hopeless life day after day, year after year. The atmosphere in the flying spirit tool suddenly became somber. Everyone fell into a strange silence. Chapter 527. There is an opportunity right in front of you. Goldface's heart also flashed with disappointment. There was no other way. In the martial arts world, people had no choice. Once they entered the League of Assassins, the only way to leave was through death. If they could persuade the League Master to give up the business of killing people and switch to protecting people, they would be able to relax. At least the casualties would not be so severe. However, would the League Master listen to his suggestion? He might even kill him in a fit of anger. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. Did I touch a nerve? I'm sorry. Come. Let's continue playing cards. Yun Chujio showed some guilt on her face as she called for everyone to resume their card game. The atmosphere became lively again. But the man in the golden mask had a lot on his mind. He was considering the possibility of bringing Yun Chujio back to the League of Assassins headquarters to persuade the League leader. How about he find a reason to bring this little girl back to the headquarters? If the little girl could persuade the League leader, that would be the best. Even if she could not convince the leader, this little girl was a hostage. The employer said that if she were captured alive, he would add another 10 million spirit stones to the base of 100 million spirit stones. No matter how angry the League's leader was, he could not bear to kill this little girl. The agreed time with the employer was 3 days later, so there was still time. Goldface thought for a long time and finally came up with an excuse. There was a small problem with the flying spirit tool. Yes. He would use this as an excuse to repair the League of Assassins' flying spirit tool. And then he would arouse the curiosity of the League leader towards the little girl. Little girl, if you want to live, there is an opportunity right in front of you. It depends on whether you can grasp it. Goldface said to Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio's small face showed great surprise. What? Goldface, you aren't joking, right? That's great. I told you I'm such a smart and cute person. How could you bear to watch me die? What kind of opportunity are you talking about? The corner of Goldface's eyes twitched slightly. Our flying spiritual device has a bit of a malfunction. We have to go back to headquarters to repair it first, and then send you to the place that we agreed with our employer. Our chief might ask you some things. If you tell our chief about those suggestions just now, perhaps our chief will give the order to let you go. Yun Chujio nodded with a smile. This flying spirit tool is breaking down. On the verge of crashing, needs urgent repair. Big brother Goldface, I will try my best to convince your chief. Thank you very much. Goldface nodded, thinking that this little girl was very eloquent. Perhaps she could persuade our chief. If she could, that would be great. And Feng, who was chasing after them, had been carefully hiding. However, the journey was surprisingly smooth, which surprised him a little. Those people's spiritual power was not low, so how could they not notice his tracking? It was really strange. Where would the people from the League of Assassins take Miss Jo to? Would they hand her over to their employer or bring her back to their headquarters first? The League of Assassins had existed for thousands of years, and it was on par with the 4 great sections. However, since they usually would not provoke the 4 great sects, things were peaceful between them. Why did they accept a contract to target Miss Jo this time? Although 100 million low-grade spirit stones wasn't a small amount, They wouldn't go so far as to make an enemy out of the Linghua sect for this small amount of spirit stones, right? There was probably something else involved. Humph. No matter what the reason was, they dared to go after Miss Zhou. When the esteemed lord brings people over, none of you will be able to leave alive. Chapter 528. Stay and be my slave girl. 10 hours later, the flying spirit tool flew into a mountain hollow. And Feng wanted to follow it in, but he found that the entire mountain hollow had activated a protective shield. Damn! What should he do now? He could not enter at all. He could only wait for His Excellency to come over. Miss Zhou, you must hold on. Yun Chuzhou was brought into a room by Gold Face. After sending someone to guard the entrance, she left to report to the chief of the League of Assassins about the journey. Yun Chuzhou sat on the chair in a daze. Ever since she transmigrated, she had always been able to turn a bad situation into a good one with her sharp tongue and clever little brain. It was also because of this that she was a little lazy. In this world, the strong were respected. She was only at the second level of the spirit cultivator realm. It seemed that she had to cultivate diligently in the future. Just as Yun Chuzhou was in a daze, Goldface walked in with a trace of joy. Little girl, our chief wants to see you. Whether you can live or not depends on this one time. Thank you, brother Goldface. I will seize this opportunity. Yun Chuzhou followed Goldface to a luxurious palace. Yun Chuzhou could not help but curse in her heart. What kind of bullshit leader is he trying to be? A local emperor? He even built a palace. After the guard reported their arrival, Goldface brought Yun Chuzhou into the palace. The palace was decorated very luxuriously. Yun Chuzhou was a little envious. TSK, the League of Assassins must be very rich. How awesome would it be if I could take control of it? A man wearing a black mask sat on the throne in front of her. He sized up Yun Chuzhou with a pair of malicious eyes and cackled, little girl, you are quite good-looking. I heard that you have some suggestions to share with me? Yun Chuzhou's heart sank. As the saying goes, appearances come from the heart. The League leader's eyes were full of bloodlust and ambition. He was not a person who was easy to get along with. The theory that she had mentioned would not be accepted. Moreover, there was a hint of lust and evil in his eyes. It was better for her to escape as soon as possible. Yun Chuzhou said with a smile, greetings to the League leader. The League leader is indeed a peerless hero. My suggestions were not worth talking about. Initially, I thought that the League of Assassins was just trying to make money. Now that I saw the leader, I knew that I was wrong. The League's leader was obviously a person who did great things. Why would he care about mere money? Brother Goldface, you should hurry up and take me to the client. Goldface was stunned. Why did the little girl change her mind so quickly? Killer 5, you can leave now. I will have a good talk with this little girl. The leader of the League said gloomily. Goldface agreed and was about to leave. Yun Chuzhou was anxious. This damn League leader of the murderous gang did not have good intentions. She grabbed Golden Face's arm and said, well, leader, I have nothing to talk to you about. Brother Goldface, please send me away. The man with the golden mask saw the pleading look in Yun Chuzhou's eyes. Although he was a little confused, he also felt a little reluctant. Leader, how about? Before the man with the golden mask could finish his sentence, the leader of the murderous alliance slapped the man's chest. Who are you to question my decisions? Get lost. I admit my mistake. I will take my leave. Goldface spat out a mouthful of blood and retreated. Little girl, I didn't expect you to win the hearts of people in just half a day. No wonder that person wanted to take your life. You are so smart. Do you want to keep your life? Why don't you stay and be my slave girl? The leader of the League of Assassins said with a lewd smile. Chapter 529. Could only rely on herself. Thank you for your interest, Chief. I'll go and be a hostage instead. See you later. Yun Chuzhou saw that the situation was deteriorating and wanted to run. You want to run? You overestimate yourself. You're lucky that I like you. Today, whether you agree or not, you will be my 190th little slave. The master of the League of Assassins jumped up from his seat and blocked the door. Little thing, since you're so naughty, I'll play cat and mouse with you. The League's chief reached out to grab Yun Chuzhou. Yun Chuzhou quickly dodged and shouted desperately, Brother Goldface, Help! This fucking pervert wants to molest me. I'm a hostage. Come and save me. Yun Chujo was trying her best and didn't have any hope. After all, Goldface was a member of the League, why could he save her? As expected, no one came in. Yun Chujo continued to shout, "Are the people of the League of Assassins all inhumane bastards? Your fucking leader is a lecherous bastard. You have been bullied by him for so many years. Don't you want to kill him?" The leader could not help but laugh. "Little girl, you are dreaming. Do you want to turn my men against me? To tell you the truth, they have all consumed the poison specially made by my master. If they don't take my antidote on time, they will die." Seeing that no one came in, Yun Chujo gritted her teeth. It seemed that she could only rely on herself. Little Black, curse him. Yun Chujo saw an opportunity and used her consciousness to communicate with Xiao Hanyo. "You old tortoise, you dare of my molesting my master. Fall and die." Xiao Hanyo cursed. The leader of the League of Assassins was about to pounce on Yun Chujo when he stumbled and fell. Yun Chujo took this opportunity to rush out of the door. Goldface stood guard outside. When he saw Yun Chujo running out, Goldface hesitated for a moment but did not stop her. Yun Chujo was delighted and quickly took out a concealment talisman. After activating it, she ran out with all her might. Goldface saw Yun Chujo's figure suddenly disappear and could not help but be stunned. How did this little girl suddenly disappear? Could it be that she used a concealment talisman? Didn't she take a poison pill? How could she still use spiritual power? Moreover, the concealment talisman was extremely rare. How could she have gotten one? Bastard! Where is she? Why didn't you stop her? When the master of the League of Assassins ran out, Yun Chujo had already disappeared. Goldface struggled in his heart and said respectfully, "League Master, I thought you were playing games with the little girl, so I didn't dare to make a move." She ran to the bedroom. The League Master didn't doubt Goldface's words. In his opinion, these men didn't dare to deceive him. He said with a lewd smile, "Ran to the bedroom? You sure know how to choose a place. I'll teach her a good lesson." Goldface saw the League Master run to the sleeping quarters. He wiped the cold sweat on his head and left the palace. "Boss, how is it? Did the League Master agree with the little girl's suggestion? Why do you look like death? Did the League Master punish you again?" When the rest of the assassins saw Goldface come out, they surrounded him. Goldface waved his hand, indicating for everyone to stop talking and follow him. Everyone was puzzled and followed Goldface to his courtyard. After Goldface activated the isolation array, only then did he say, "I harmed that little girl. Although I know that the leader likes young girls, I didn't expect him to disregard the little girl's status and take her for himself. I wanted to take her away, but the Alliance leader slapped me." Fuck! The Alliance leader is getting more and more outrageous. How many things has the boss done for him? He can hit us whenever he wants and scold us whenever he wants. In his eyes, we are just dogs. It's a pity that that little girl will be used to death by the leader in a few days. Chapter 530. Long time no see, damn it. Condemning people to death with just a nod of the death. The leader's hobby is so damn disgusting. If it wasn't for the poison pill, I wouldn't have stayed in this damned place. Shut up. It's fine if you say this to me, but keep quiet when you get out. Be careful not to get yourself killed. Goldface shouted sternly. Everyone stopped speaking indignantly. One of the assassins asked curiously, "Boss, that little girl could really talk, but she just obediently gave in? Could it be that she didn't resist?" "That's right, that little girl seems to be quite smart, but she was defeated just like that?" Goldface shook his head. "That little girl escaped, but strangely, she disappeared without a trace. She must have used a concealment talisman." "What? Didn't she take a poison pill? How could she still have spiritual power? Besides, there are very few concealment talismans around. How could she have one?" "I don't understand it either. But that little girl did disappear in front of me. I couldn't bear to stop her, so I didn't. I even told the leader that she ran towards the sleeping quarters." Goldface recounted what had happened. "Boss, the chief will soon find out that you lied. I'm afraid you'll get in trouble because of her." "That's right. Boss, quickly think of a way out of this. Otherwise, according to the chief's increasingly violent temper, he definitely won't spare you. Boss, they're right. Last time, just because a brother said something wrong, the chief beat him to death. I'm afraid you're doomed at this rate. Goldface smiled bitterly. What can I possibly do? Even if I escape now, the poison pill in my body alone will eventually take my life. After so many years, I have finally done something good. I hope that little girl can escape this. Boss, I'm afraid that your intentions are in vain. Although that little girl has a concealment talisman, our base has a protective field. There's no way she can get out. Even for us, if we don't have a token, we won't be able to get out either. Therefore, once the duration of her concealment talisman is up, she will definitely be discovered. Just as everyone was talking, someone shouted outside the courtyard, "Kill Commander Wu. The League Master wants you to go and see him." Boss, you can't go. The leader must have found out that you lied to him. That's right. Boss, according to the leader's personality, he will kill you. Boss, you can run. Goldface sighed. Run? Where can I go? Didn't you guys say just it now? I can't get out of this protective array alone. Not to mention the poison in my body. Forget it, you guys take care of yourselves in the future. After Goldface said that, he removed the isolation field and walked towards the door. The assassins wanted to persuade him, but at that moment, the guard who was summoned by the door fell to the ground and died. There was a commotion. What was going on? Why was this person dead? Goldface was stunned at first. Then he dragged the body of the guard into the courtyard and activated the isolation field. Little girl, come out. What are you doing? Goldface shouted. Boss, are you crazy? Who are you talking to? The assassins asked in confusion. Hello brothers. Long time no see. A little girl slowly revealed herself and looked at everyone with a smile. Yun Chujio. Boss, she came at the right time. Let's capture her and present her to the leader. You can make up for your mistakes. The leader will spare you. Right? Capture her. Everyone, hurry up and do it before she uses the concealment talisman again. Chapter 531. My Prince Charming is very awesome. Wait. I have already shown myself. Are you still afraid that I will run away? I have something very important to tell you. Yun Chujia's small face suddenly became serious. The golden masked man waved his hand at the crowd. Tell me, are you really willing to be a tool for murder for the rest of your life? You don't want to get married and have children for the rest of your life? To live a life of looking up to others? Live a life of fear every day? Even if you capture and send me to that bullshit leader, do you think that he will spare Brother Goldface with that narrow mind of his? Sooner or later, he will kill Brother Goldface. Now there is a great opportunity in front of you. As long as you listen to me, I promise to kill that bullshit leader of yours. It depends on whether you have the courage and determination to go all out. The aura from Yun Chujio suddenly changed. It was no longer the mischievous attitude from before. Instead, it was replaced by a murderous aura. Everyone was momentarily intimidated by Yun Chujio's aura. They actually seriously considered what Yun Chujio said. Little girl, of course we're not willing to be enslaved like this. However, what qualifications do you have to kill our leader? The golden masked man's face was filled with doubt. To tell you the truth, my Prince Charming will soon bring people to surround this place. My Prince Charming is a rather formidable existence. Not to mention this bullshit leader. Even if 10 of them were to join forces, they would not be a match for my Prince Charming. As long as we can hold on for another 4 hours, my Prince Charming will arrive with his men. What we need to do is to destroy the core of the protective array. Yun Chujio mentioned debeaming. She was extremely proud and looked as if she was honored. Everyone looked doubtful. Is this little girl bragging? Our master is at the 6th level of the Spirit Emperor realm. Is that Prince Charming of hers that powerful? Are you guys finding it hard to believe? My concealment talisman was given by my Prince Charming. If it were an ordinary person, would they have such an awesome item? Moreover, are you willing to accept a man coming into this world and living like a coward? Little girl, although what you said makes sense, and even if we killed the chief, we've all consumed the poison pill. If we don't have the antidote, we will die in a month. If that's the case, why should we continue to live? As the saying goes, better a bad life than a good death. Goldface smiled bitterly. TSK. It's just a poison pill. What's the big deal? Well, just force that bastard to hand over the antidote formula. Even if we can't find the antidote formula, my master Elder Chi is a pill refiner. I don't believe that we won't be able to do anything about this poison pill. Even if we can't cure it completely, we can still delay it for some time. When the time comes, we'll find some old friends to discuss it with. There will definitely be a solution. Moreover, even if it did not work out, there was still me. I'm a little expert in alchemy. I have said so much. You guys can consider it yourselves. Whether you want to continue living on your last breath or be an upright person, it's your choice. The gold-masked man smiled bitterly. The little girl is right. Even if I capture her and hand her over to the leader, he will not let me off. Since that's the case, I will take a gamble. As for you guys, you can consider it yourselves. I will not force you. Boss, since you've already said so much, well, follow you. And most well just die. Well, treat it as if we were killed while carrying out a mission. That's right. Boss, we'll take our chances too. Sooner or later we'll all die. Why not take our chances? We might really have to fight our way out. Chapter 532. The location of the array core. Little girl, what should we do next? The Alliance leader will definitely send someone to rush me, Goldface asked. The most important thing now is to destroy the array core. Otherwise, the reinforcements from outside won't be able to come in. Now let's split up into smaller groups. Goldface will bring me to the array core, and you guys will also go there separately. In order to differentiate you guys from the rest, you guys have to have some sort of mark. Yun Chujo rolled her eyes and took out 2 red scarves from her storage ring. She tore them into small strips and handed them to the gold-masked man and the assassins. How about this? Each of you tie a red scarf on your head to prevent my Prince Charming from accidentally injuring you. The corners of everyone's eyes twitched, but they still tied the red scarf on their heads. Yun Chujo nodded in satisfaction. With that, let's go. Goldface, you lead the way. I'll activate the concealment talisman and follow you. We have to speed up, lest that old bastard finds us. Goldface nodded. Everyone left the courtyard and followed Yun Chujia's instructions to disperse to the location of the array core. After a quarter of an hour, Yun Chujo followed Goldface in circles and arrived in front of a cave. There was a team of guards in front of the cave and a total of 6 people. Yun Chujo could not see through the other party's cultivation, so they must be above the 2nd level of the spirit cultivator realm. After those people discovered the gold-masked man, the leader frowned. Commander Shawa, why are you here? Did the Alliance leader give an order? That's right. He asked me to go in and check if the array disk is working properly. I see. Then let me have a look at the leader's token. Okay. Please step aside for a moment. The Alliance leader has a secret order for me to pass on to you. The gold-masked man winked at the leader. That man thought it must be something good and immediately beamed with joy. Commander Shawa, you're too courteous. Alright, let's go over there and chat. When the two of them reached the hidden area, the man asked anxiously, Commander Shawa, what message does the chief want you to pass on to me? The chief wants you to accompany him underground. Before Goldface's voice had faded, Yun Chujia's rolling pin had already smacked that person's head open. 2 of you get here. Your leader doesn't look too well. Goldface shouted at the remaining 5 people at the entrance of the cave. 2 of them quickly ran over. Before they could figure out what was going on, one of them was smacked to death by the invisible Yun Chujo while the other was killed by Goldface. However, the commotion caused by the fight between the golden masked man and the other men alarmed the remaining 3 guards. Fortunately, Goldface's men already rushed over and killed the remaining 3 guards in no time. The 6 of you change into their clothes and stand guard here. The rest of you hide in the dark and act according to the situation. If that old bastard comes, there's no need to fight head-on. Save your strength. Yun Chujo kept the concealment talisman and revealed herself. After everyone nodded, Yun Chujo and Goldface entered the cave. Goldface, there are only 6 people guarding the formation's core? Isn't this too casual? Yun Chujo felt that something was amiss. The formation core was the most important thing. How could there only be 6 people guarding it? Goldface smiled bitterly. Of course not. There's a Tier 9 purple-striped venomous python at the formation's core. Although you have the concealment talisman, the python is very sensitive to smell. I hope you'll be able to deceive it. It'll attract its attention in a while. You take the opportunity to destroy the formation disc at the eye of the formation. Goldface, take these demon beast corpses. Use them to attract the purple-striped venomous python's attention. Pay attention to your safety. It'll try to finish the battle as soon as possible. After Yun Chujo transferred the demon beast corpses to Goldface, she activated the concealment talisman again and followed Goldface into the cave. Chapter 533. Purple-striped venomous python. The two of them walked for some distance, and Yun Chujo smelled a strong fishy smell. Yun Chujo secretly cursed in her heart. This purple-striped venomous python is the same as the fire dragon in the fire cave. Both of them are unhygienic and smell disgusting. After some distance, there was indeed a huge array disc in front of them. Next to the array disc was a purple-striped venomous python that was hundreds of feet long. When it saw Goldface, it spat out a bright red core at him. The Tier 9 spirit beast already had intelligence. Goldface cupped his fists at the python. Brother Python, the Alliance leader sent me to check on the formation plate. I wonder if everything is normal? The python's eyes revealed a trace of disdain as it nodded its huge head. Brother Python, I think that with you guarding, no one would dare to come in and cause trouble. I have some fresh demon beast corpses here. Come over and I'll feed them to you so as not to dirty the formation plate. Goldface took out the wind blade deer's corpse from his storage ring. The striped python revealed a trace of arrogance as it quickly swam over and swallowed the wind blade deer's corpse. Yun Chujo took advantage of the opportunity and leaped up while the purple-striped venomous python was eating the wind blade deer, heading straight for the disc array. The python felt a wave of spiritual energy fluctuations, and its vertical pupils revealed a trace of doubt. Goldface hurriedly threw the demon beast's corpse out continuously. The python's huge head looked around and saw that there was nothing unusual. Then it continued devouring the demon beast's corpse. Yun Chujo jumped to the front of the formation plate and sized up the situation. This formation plate was the size of a millstone, and there were hundreds of high-grade spirit stones in the middle groove. She was very willing to kill the leader of the Alliance for it. It was too late to dig out the formation plate, so she could only destroy it violently. Yun Chujo did not care about whether or not she would expose herself. She raised her right hand and struck the formation plate with lightning. Both the python and Goldface were shocked. Goldface thought to himself, he did not expect the little girl to have lightning root spirit. The information he gathered did not contain anything about the little girl's root spirit, and she had never used her spiritual power to attack in front of outsiders. This little girl's thoughts were really profound. However, why was the lightning struck by the little girl purple? Should it not be silver? The python was startled at first. Was there lightning in the sky? However, it quickly reacted. There was a cave wall blocking it, so it was impossible for lightning to strike. That meant that someone was destroying the disc array. The purple-striped venomous python flew into a rage out of humiliation. It spat out a large mouthful of poisonous fog at the gold-masked man. Although the gold-masked man was already prepared and held his mouth and nose, he still inhaled a little. Immediately he felt nauseous and dizzy. Fortunately, the purple-striped venomous python was in a hurry to stop Yun Chujo, who was destroying the disc array, and did not continue to attack the man with the gold mask. Otherwise, he would definitely lose his life. Although the python could not see Yun Chujo, it used its huge tail to sweep around the disc array. Yun Chujo hurriedly dodged. The purple-striped venomous python smelled an unusual smell and spat out a large mouthful of poisonous mist toward Yun Chujo's direction. The purple-striped poisonous python swept its huge tail around wildly. No matter who it was, they would not be able to escape this python's poisonous mist. Prepare to die. At this moment, the gold-masked man who had slightly recovered could not help but feel his heart tighten. It was over. With such a huge mouthful of poisonous mist, the little girl definitely would not be able to dodge it. He had just inhaled a little bit of it and already felt dizzy and weak. This time the little girl would not be able to keep her life. Chapter 534. Attacked from both sides. Just as Goldface was feeling disheartened, he saw streaks of purple lightning striking the formation plate once again. From the looks of it, it seemed to be more concentrated than before. Goldface was overjoyed. The little girl was actually not poisoned to death. It seemed that she was indeed quite capable. However, the purple-striped venomous python was enraged out of humiliation. It kept spitting poisonous fog toward the top of the formation plate. Yun Chujo could not help but be secretly happy. "You stinky worm, you actually want to poison me to death. Dream on." Strange Grass could not be happier to swallow the poisonous mist now. "It would be better if you spit more." This broken array was really sturdy. She just broke a small part of it even after striking it for such a long time. Forget it. It was better for her to take the spirit stones inside first and assess what to do after. Yun Chujo lowered the defensive spirit tool on her body and started to take the spirit stones in the groove. The purple-striped venomous python felt that its tail was in the way. A trace of cunningness flashed through its cold vertical pupils. It suddenly turned around and opened its mouth toward where Yun Chujo was. Yun Chujo smelled a stench and hurriedly dodged to the side. Several of the defensive spirit tools on her body were shattered in an instant. Yun Chujio's heart ached so much that she could not take it anymore. "Damn you, you stinky bug. I went through a lot of trouble to get these. You actually destroyed a few of them. Just you wait, Little Black will take revenge. Even 10 years is not too late. Sooner or later, I will strike you into a dried python. Master, I will go out and lure this stinky bug away," Little Black said with his spiritual sense. "No, it can spray poisonous fog. You can't withstand it, it's okay. There are only a few spirit stones left in this groove. I will get them out." Yun Chujo was about to take the remaining spirit stones when a huge fireball headed toward her. "Little slave girl, I didn't expect you to have such a good tool like a concealment talisman. Unfortunately, this thing is useless to me. As long as you obediently come over and submit to me, I'll spare your life. Otherwise, I'll feed you to the purple-striped venomous python," the murderous alliance leader said as he kicked Goldface, who was already poisoned by the python, to the stone wall at the side. He screamed and fell to the ground. No one knew whether he was still alive or not. There were still 3 spirit stones left and Yun Chujo would be done. She did not expect this old bastard to come in at this time. What bad luck. "Fuck you, you old pervert. Old bastard. Go to hell." Yun Chujo waved her hand and a series of purple lightning struck the alliance leader. He dodged the lightning bolts and laughed evilly. "Oh, it's a heavenly thunder root spirit. I can use it as a furnace. Little girl, you can't escape from me," the alliance leader said as he slapped Yun Chujo several times. The huge fireballs kept hitting Yun Chujo. Yun Chujo wanted to dig out the remaining 3 spirit stones, but the formation plate was covered by the python's huge body. She had no way to take out the spirit stones. Yun Chujo was now facing enemies from both sides. Needless to say, the leader of the League of Assassins was also gradually able to lock onto Yun Chujio's position with the scent of the damned python. When it saw that the poisonous fog was ineffective, it began to sweep with its tail. Fortunately, Yun Chujo had countless defensive spirit tools on her. Otherwise, she would have died a long time ago. Even so, with the passage of time, Yun Chujio's defensive spirit tools dwindled, but the python and the leader of the League of Assassins were unharmed. "Little girl, you do have a lot of good tools on you, but you won't be able to hold on for much longer. Quickly come and beg for mercy. I will definitely dote on you." The leader had a lewd look on his face. Initially, he had only seen this little girl's delicate skin, but he did not expect her to have the heavenly thunder root spirit. What a pleasant surprise. After struggling for a while, the python just laid on the ground and did not move. Before Yun Chujo could catch her breath, she heard the leader of the League of Assassins cackling. "Little girl, you really have a lot of treasures. You and these little things belong to me. I will take you down even if I am tired." Yun Chujo found that the other assassins had been beaten to the point that they were all lying on the ground. The ground was covered in blood, and she did not know whether they were still alive or not. Yoon Chujio could not help but feel guilty. If she was not incompetent, perhaps they would not have ended up in such a miserable state. If it were not for her low spiritual power, her cheap grandfather and the Yoon family would not have been threatened. While Yoon Chujio was in a daze, the leader of the League of Assassins jumped up and reached out his hand to grab Yoon Chujio. Little Black quickly threw a fireball at him. "Damn it, you dare to bully my master? I will burn you to death." The man dodged Little Black's fireball and could not help but sneer. "A mere 6th-level spiritual beast dares to attack me. You're really courting death." As he spoke, he threw a fireball at Little Black. Little Black flew up to avoid the fireball. Yoon Chujio also came back to her senses and attacked the leader with Little Black. Furry finally dug out the last spirit stone. Seeing that Yoon Chujio was beaten to the point that she could not retaliate, she rolled her eyes and threw a sticky silk net at the man. Chapter 536. God will take care of you for me. The leader of the League of Assassins was about to dodge Yoon Chujio's lightning, but he did not expect his shoes to stick to the ground. Seeing this, Yoon Chujio shot another round of lightning at him. Unfortunately, the man had a defensive spirit tool on him, so Yoon Chujio's attack was blocked outside the spiritual energy shield. "Master, run! Let's run now!" Furry shouted. Yoon Chujio gritted her teeth. She could only wait for the gigolo to come and save Goldface and the others. She would have to flee first. As soon as Yoon Chujio ran out of the cave, she saw hundreds of assassins waiting not far away. Just as Yoon Chujio was about to activate the concealment talisman, the man was already on her tail. Furry threw another sticky silk net at him. The leader took out a sword that was shining with a faint blue light and hacked at the sticky silk net on the ground. The sticky silk net was instantly cut into 2 pieces. Furry cried out in heartache. "Ah, my sticky silk net, I spent a long time weaving it. You old bastard, it'll scratch you to death." Furry jumped up and scratched the leader's face. He waved his hand, and Furry was sent flying with a whiz and fell to the ground with a crash. Seeing this, Little Black glared at the man and threw a fireball at him. How dare he bully Little Black's underling? He was courting death. The leader's patience was running out and he did not hold back anymore. He threw a palm at Little Black. Little Black could not dodge in time and was sent flying too. It landed heavily on the ground. It then fainted after a choking sound. Seeing that Furry and Little Black were still alive, Yoon Chujio quickly ran over to check. How could the leader of the League of Assassins let go of such a good opportunity? He slapped Yoon Chujio on the back and she spat out a mouthful of blood. "Little girl, those trash and these 2 little things are already dead. Let me see what else you have up your sleeves." The man laughed wildly. "This little girl is about to be mine." Yoon Chujio put the little black bird and the ball of wool into the spirit beast pouch. She stood up and wiped the blood from the corner of her mouth with her hand. Her eyes were full of ruthlessness. "Old bastard, do you think I'm finished just like that? Let's see who will die in the end." The man could not help but laugh strangely. "Little girl, are you talking nonsense? Your defensive spirit tools have been exhausted, and your spirit pet is also finished. What other abilities do you have? Heaven's punishment. God will take care of you for me. If you don't believe me, just wait and see if God will strike you down with lightning. If you don't do justice, you will die. You old bastard, not only do you look down on human lives, but you don't treat your subordinates as human beings too. Not only do you make them take poison pills, but you also kill them as you please. People like you don't deserve to live in this world." Yoon Chujio stood proudly, her small face full of determination. The leader of the League of Assassins threw his head back and laughed. "Heaven's punishment?" This little girl said heaven's punishment. "Do you think that's funny?" The assassins also laughed, but there was a trace of pity in some of their eyes. The words of this little girl really hit the nail on the head. The leader didn't treat us as human beings at all. Heaven's punishment. If the heavens really killed him, then the heavens were really just. The leader continued, "What a big joke. If there's retribution, I would have already died thousands of times. Little girl, don't struggle fearlessly. Obediently submit to me, and you will suffer less. Otherwise, I will make you beg for death." Chapter 537. Could actually command the heavenly lightning to strike people. Yun Chujo smiled faintly. You don't believe me? For someone as heartless as you, the heavens will not sit idly by. Haven't you heard of that saying? It's not that there's no retribution. When the time comes, good and evil will be recompensed in the end. Today is a good day for justice. The heavens will immediately take you in. Following Yun Chujio's words, everyone realized that the sky was gradually turning dark. Although it was already dusk, it was not supposed to be that dark yet. Everyone looked up and saw a thick and heavy dark cloud slowly drifting over. The dark cloud's heart was on the verge of collapse. It was bitter. Why did it draw the losing lot again? It did not want to deal with this scourge, and did not want to be scolded by her. Everyone was shocked. Could it really be the heavenly punishment? Was this dark cloud going to drop the heavenly thunder? The leader of the League of Assassins frowned, and then sneered, "Little girl, don't be so mystifying. It's just a coincidence. I've never believed in heavenly punishment. What's so strange about this cloud? It's just a rain cloud." Yun Chujo shouted at the dark clouds in the sky, "Little dark cloud, that old bastard said that you don't know shit except for the rain. Strike him. As long as you strike him, I won't scold you anymore." The man laughed and staggered back. "Little girl, you're really interesting. Who do you think you are? You even ordered the clouds to hit me. What a whimsical idea. Are you scared to death by me? Besides, this piece of cloud in the sky doesn't even look thick, and you think it can even strike lightning? What a joke." The dark cloud in the sky was furious. "Damn it. It's fine if that little troublemaker Yun Chujo scolded me, since I can't strike her to death. You old bastard, you actually dare to look down on me. I'll strike you to death." Rumble. Rumble. Several purple lightning bolts descended from the sky, and they were all aimed at the leader of the League of Assassins. The man did not even have time to react. Although the first lightning bolt was blocked by the spiritual energy shield formed by his defensive spirit tool, the dark clouds in the sky released 9 lightning bolts in a row to vent his anger. Even if one had reached the 9th level of the Spirit Emperor realm, he might not be able to withstand 9 lightning bolts. What was more, the leader? The man was immediately turned into ashes. Only a storage ring was left, which Yun Chujo hurriedly put it away. Those assassins were scared silly. Some of the cowards were already kneeling on the ground, kowtowing and begging for mercy. Yun Chujo looked at them with a cold smile. "Do any of you still want to taste the taste of lightning? If you don't want to, you can restrain the spiritual power of the other party in pairs, then tie them up with belts. I'll tie the last one up." A trace of doubt flashed in the eyes of a few assassins. The leader being struck just now might have been an accident. Since the leader was dead, it was a good opportunity for them to rise to the top. How could they be manipulated by this stinky little girl? Therefore, the few of them looked at each other and suddenly pounced on Yun Chujo. Yun Chujo waved her hand and shot out several bolts of lightning. Then she shouted at the dark clouds in the sky, "Little dark cloud, strike them. Strike them hard. If you strike them well, I won't mock you anymore." The dark clouds in the sky thought for a moment. Fuck. Since I've already broken my precepts today, why not just strike them to my heart's content? I would have a greater sense of achievement. If I was reprimanded, I'll say that my eyesight has not been good recently and that I missed. Boom. Boom. Those unlucky fellows were instantly struck into ashes. The remaining assassins were trembling like chaff. Oh my god. This little girl was actually able to command lightning to strike people. It was really too horrifying. Chapter 538. The industry conscience of the dark clouds world. Yun Chujo saw that the assassins followed her instructions and were operating in groups of 2. Very quickly, their spiritual power was restrained and tied up with a belt. Yun Chujo also restrained the remaining assassin's spiritual power and tied it up with a belt. Only then did she let out a temporary sigh of relief. Yun Chujo looked at the dark clouds in the sky and said with a smile, "Little dark cloud, well done. Don't go yet. Stay with me for a while. Wait for my Prince Charming to come, then you can leave." The dark clouds in the sky turned pink. Oh my. That was the first time the dark cloud was praised by this little troublemaker. The cloud was a little embarrassed. Yun Chujo first released Little Black and Furry from the spirit beast pouch to check on their injuries. Furry was fine. Thinking about it, it was also fine when Yun Chujo beat it with a rolling pin in the Great Void Mystic Realm. It was just a fall just now, and it was indeed not a big deal. Furry was just too worried about the sticky silk net, and it was a little dazed from the fall. That was why it was in such a state. Little Black suffered serious internal injuries. Yun Chujo took out a blood clotting pill with golden patterns and fed it to Little Black. She took one herself. Almost at the same time, the main gate of League of Assassins was breached. Biming and his men killed everyone like a god of death. However, they did not find any trace of Yun Chujo. They found an assassin who led them to the leader's palace, and they turned the place inside out but did not find anyone. It was not until the rumbling of thunder was heard that Biming and the others found the place. And Feng rubbed his eyes when he saw the scene in front of him. Damn, is my eyesight bad? What the hell are the hundreds of people on the ground doing, tied up like dumplings? Even if they did not move, it would have taken a while for Miss Jo to tie all of them up, right? How did she do it? Biming saw that Yun Chujia's mouth was still stained with blood. His eyes turned red. Black thing, who hurt you? Yun Chujo bared her white teeth. I've already killed him. Look, it's that little dark cloud in the sky who helped me. This is a rare conscience of the dark cloud world. He even waited for you to come. Little dark cloud, my idol is here. You can call it a day. Thank you so much. See you later. Yun Chujo waved her claws at the little dark cloud in the sky. The dark cloud in the sky was simply overwhelmed by the favor and floated away while trembling. Biming had a dumbfounded look on his face. This dark cloud struck the black thing and even has feelings for her? It actually saved the black thing? The things that had happened to her were something that he could never guess. Prince Charming, the people in the cave have helped me. Send someone to treat them. Although Yun Chujo had suffered internal injuries, she had consumed the blood-clotting pill with golden patterns, and secondly, the strange grass in her dantian had also played a miraculous role. Therefore, after a while, she became lively again. After treatment, Goldface's life was not in danger, although his injuries were not light. A few of the others died, but most of them were still alive. Biming sent people to temporarily lock up the assassins who had their spiritual power restrained in the cave. He also activated the isolation array, preparing to interrogate them later. Yun Chujo felt that this was a relatively satisfactory result. Before she had the time to talk to Biming, she saw a large patch of dark clouds floating in the sky again. Yun Chujo was a little puzzled. This can't be right. I had a sudden inspiration just now and forcefully summoned the thunder tribulation. Why is it here again? I didn't do anything bad. Chapter 539. Do the dark clouds in the sky know me? Your spiritual power is limited. All of you retreat into the cave. I will bear the heavenly punishment, Biming said to his subordinates. Your Excellency, you can't. It seems that the power of heavenly punishment isn't minor. You can't bear it alone. I'll bear it with you, Enfeng said. Your Excellency, what Enfeng said makes sense. We'll help you share the burden. It's better than carrying it all alone. Last time you were seriously injured when you carried the heavenly thunder for Miss Jo. This time you can't take this lightly, An advised from the side. The other secret guards also expressed their support to share the burden. They fought so hard that their faces turned red. Yun Chujo raised her small claws weakly. What are you doing? Heavenly punishment? Why do you want heavenly punishment? How did you offend the damned heavens? Miss Jo, we're from the Tianyuan continent. If we killed someone on the Qingxian continent, we would definitely be punished. After we rushed in just now, we killed hundreds of people. Heavenly punishment will definitely befall on us. The corner of Enfeng's eyes twitched. Only Miss Jo dared to talk about the heavens like that. She was really audacious. Yun Chujo was stunned at first. Then she clapped with a smile. You don't have to fight anymore. Just let it strike me. Anyway, I haven't been struck for a long time and am feeling a little itch for it. Enfeng and An were slightly better off, but the rest of the secret guards were dumbfounded. They had not recovered from what had happened just now. Their honorable sir brought them to Qingxian continent to save people. However, the scene just now made them feel that even if they had not come, the little girl would be safe. Also, why did the little girl seem to be talking to the dark clouds in the sky just now? The strangest thing was that the piece of dark cloud seemed to understand her. When it floated away, it seemed to be alive and kicking. What the hell? Right, what did the little girl say? Let the lightning strike her? It had been a long time since she was struck? She felt a little itchy for it. Was this little girl sick? Was she talking nonsense? Black thing, the heavenly punishment is here to strike us. If it doesn't strike us, it won't stop. Even if you want to be struck by lightning, they won't strike you, Beiming explained. Yun Chujo curled her lips. Teske, Prince Charming, you've underestimated my ability to provoke the dark cloud. Just you wait and see. Stand a little further away and watch how I lure the lightning over. Beiming was skeptical and his subordinates felt that Yun Chujo was spouting nonsense. They were all on high alert and were prepared to share some of the burden with their honored lord if the thunder came. Yun Chujo looked at the dark clouds in the sky. They looked quite big, but they were not very thick. It seemed that the heavens hated her a lot. Every time it sent someone to attack her, it seemed to be much thicker than this dark cloud. Hey, dark clouds in the sky, do you know who I am? I'm the Yun Chujo that your dark cloud world hates the most. Do you want to strike me a few times to vent your anger? Yun Chujo stretched her neck and shouted toward the sky. The dark clouds in the sky trembled for a moment. The news had spread all over the dark cloud world that there was actually a monster in a low-level world like the Qingxian continent. After being struck several times, almost all of the heavy-duty dark clouds had been mobilized, but she was still not dead. Not only was she not dead, she was getting more and more lively. The dark clouds were really angered to death. However, on the way here it had met dark cloud number 9. It seemed to be in a good mood. Could it be that it had gotten used to striking this little monster? Chapter 540. Was fooled. Hey, what are you trembling for? I'm very kind. Besides, I didn't scold you. This is the first time I'm meeting you. Let's discuss something, shall we? Yun Chujo raised her head and said with a smile. No matter how the dark cloud looked at Yun Chujo, she looked like a little devil with horns on her head. The more it looked at her, the more Yun Chujo's smile became increasingly frightening. The dark cloud trembled even more violently. Yun Chujo took out the Phoenix Nirvana Immortal handkerchief and tied it on her head. Then she hooked her finger at the dark cloud in the sky. You're too timid. I didn't even threaten you. What are you afraid of? Well, aren't you here to strike people? You can strike anyone. Just strike my Prince Charming once, and keep the rest for me. Aren't you curious why the other clouds can't strike me to death? Don't you want to give it a try? When you see other clouds in the future, you'll have a common topic to talk about, right? What if you, little cloud, succeed in striking me to death? Come on, don't be polite. Strike me to your heart's content. The dark cloud in the sky was indeed stirred up by its competitive spirit. The little girl is right. If I don't give it a try, how would I know if it works? I don't believe that there's actually someone who can't be hacked to death. Boom! Boom! Several bolts of lightning struck Yun Chujo. Yun Chujo could not help but twitch her lips. These bolts of lightning were too thin. They could not be compared to the ones that struck her. The damn heavens really wanted to kill her that time. When the guards brought by Beiming saw several bolts of lightning heading straight for Yun Chujo, they thought to themselves, it's over. This little girl will definitely be turned into ash. It was strange. Why did their revered lord act as if nothing had happened at such a critical time, and did not even help the little girl? After a moment, the bodyguards were dumbfounded. They saw that the little girl was not only unharmed, she was even more alive after being struck. Little dark cloud, you are indeed much weaker than the other clouds. This strike of yours is like scratching an itch. Did you drift over without having lunch? Or are you the most useless of all the dark clouds? Yun Chujo said disdainfully. The dark cloud in the sky was trembling. No wonder those clouds say that this little scourge can anger the clouds to death. This is a lesson. I don't believe in evil anymore. I must kill her today. Hack! 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 Strike! Strike! A quarter of an hour later, the dark cloud shivered and floated away. This baby is so bitter. This baby was tricked. I used all the thunder to hack Yun Chujo, this scourge. I've totally forgotten about my mission and why I was there in the first place. This baby wants to die, so no one stop me. Yun Chujo clapped her little hands and hugged Di Baiming's waist. Prince Charming, how is it? It's done. I did good, right? Yun Chujo had a look that said, praise me. Praise me. Di Baiming's heart softened, but when he saw the trace of blood at the corner of Yun Chujia's mouth, his face turned cold again. Black thing, come with me. I have something to say to you. Yun Chujo followed Di Baiming and left, leaving behind a group of confused guards. Oh my god. That little girl's hands were dirty, and she left 2 black marks on our honored lord's clothes. Our honored lord actually did not shake off that little girl? Originally, we already felt that things were abnormal when our lord wanted to save a little girl. We didn't expect that our lord would finally be enlightened. Heavens, who said that our lord was gay? Who said that our lord was a good man? Open your damn eyes, our lord likes women. Chapter 541. Di Baiming admonishes little Zhou. Di Baiming took a deep breath and solemnly said, Black thing. There are some things that I didn't intend to say because I was afraid that you would be too shocked. But now it seems that if I keep quiet I will end up harming you. You have always been opportunistic and relied on your words to take advantage of me. You also think that because you have the heavenly thunder spirit root and are smart, you can afford to be complacent and neglect your cultivation. Other than eating, drinking, and having fun all day, did you take cultivation seriously? Usually, you put your attention on reading those books and dealing with a few scumbags. Others went to the trials to increase their actual combat experience. Have you ever been there? Even in the trials of the Great Void Mystic Realm and the Wuwei Tower, you relied on external forces to win. When have you relied on your own abilities to win? Also, don't you know that you can't bite off more than you can chew when it comes to alchemy, formations, and talismans? You fiddle with everything, which one of them do you understand very well? Not only are you not good at it, but you also lack focus on one particular technique. If this continues, sooner or later, you will suffer a great loss. You even said that you want to protect the Yun family and look for your adoptive parents. What right do you have to say such words? Just like this time, if the people from the League of Assassins really intended to kill the Yun family members in front of you, do you have the ability to stop them? Yun Chujia's mouth was wide open and her face was filled with shock. Di Baiming's words were like an arrow that went straight to the heart. Di Baiming saw that Yun Chujo had been affected by his words and he couldn't bear it. However, for her to improve quickly, he had to make her change. Otherwise, sooner or later something would happen. At this moment he was very afraid. If the black thing didn't attract the heavenly thunder, and if the heavenly thunder had not struck the League of Assassins leader as she said, then the consequences would be unimaginable. Yun Chujo was stunned. What the pretty boy said made sense. In her previous life she had lived a hard life. In this life she had thought that it would be easier, so she just wanted to muddle along. She felt that there was nothing wrong with that. Ever since she transmigrated, things had been going smoothly. Although there was a strange grass in her dantian that made her a little worried, whether it was in the Yun family or the Linghua sect, she had not met any powerful enemies other than a few scum. Even if she had offended Du Gai, however, with the Linghua sect as her backer, he did not openly dare do anything to her. Moreover, she had an awesome heavenly thunder spirit root. Even heavenly thunder could not kill her. She also had an immortal artifact like the rolling pin. So she felt invincible. She felt that cultivating amounted to nothing much. Anyway, she could easily level up without cultivating, so why was it so hard? Why would she not use external forces? It was both easy and convenient. However, this incident had alarmed her. If Goldface and the others did not have a trace of benevolence, not only would she have died, but even her grandfather and the others would have as well. The pretty boy was right. Only strength was the absolute truth. Only when she became strong enough could she protect the people she wanted to protect and live the life she wanted to live. Di Baiming sighed in his heart when he saw the changing expression on Yun Chujia's face. Although it was hurtful to say so, it was still better than waking up after tragedy had occurred. The expression on Yun Chujia's face gradually turned from confusion to determination. She smiled brightly at Di Baiming, Prince Charming, what you said makes sense. From now on, I will work hard and not waste any more time. Biming nodded. He was very gratified. Although the black thing was usually a little mischievous, she was still very clear when it mattered. Yun Chujo continued, Prince Charming, let's go. Let's go search the League of Assassins' treasury. All the defensive spiritual artifacts on me have been destroyed. This time, I will get 180 defensive spiritual artifacts to hang on me. I will also search for some poison pills and talismans. In the future, if anyone wants to kill me, I will poison them to death. Biming. Chapter 542. Had a jade medallion engraved with spider lilies. Prince Charming, am just joking with you. However, we still need to equip this thing when we need to. It's always good to have more life-saving methods. Let's go and ask those assassins which bastard wants to kill me? Biming nodded and sighed in his heart. I'm afraid that the black thing's temperamental character will not change for the time being. I still need to urge her to cultivate more. Goldface had already woken up after taking the pill. When he heard Yun Chujia's question, he shook his head. The contract to kill you was personally ordered by the leader. We did not contact the buyer. The leader only gave us your information and told us to capture you and send you to Longping Mountain. The buyer would then pick you up there. Yun Chujo frowned and poured out all the things in the storage ring of the assassin's leader. There were a lot of spirit stones, a few spirit tools, a few bottles of pills, and a jade token with patterns engraved on it. This is the spider lily, right? Which force uses the spider lily as a symbol? Yun Chujo asked curiously. Biming shook his head. I've never heard of any force using the spider lily as a symbol. Seeing that Biming had never seen it before, Yun Chujo could only put away the jade token temporarily. Miss Yun, why don't we go to Longping Mountain? Maybe the buyer will wait there. Goldface suggested. Yun Chujo smiled and said, how is that possible? With such a big commotion here, the buyer will definitely have fled. However, we can try, but the chances of success are very small. Lend me your flying spirit tool. I'll get someone to go to Longping Mountain to check out the situation according to the agreed time. After Goldface nodded in agreement, Yun Chujo took out those pills for Goldface to identify. Goldface said with a wry smile, Miss Yun, apart from the poison pills, the rest are all antidotes that treat the symptoms but not the root of the problem. We need to take them once a month. They can't completely remove the poison from our bodies. Yun Chujo nodded. It's all right. There are quite a number of these antidotes. They should be able to last for a while. I'll take some and let Elder Chi take a look. He'll be able to identify the herbs inside. When the time comes, the right medicine will be able to remove the poison from your bodies. Goldface, there are still a few hundred people in the cave. I don't know much about them. I will leave you to decide whether to kill them or not. I will leave the League of Assassins to you. If you can accept any missions as guards in the future, you must inform me. I will hire you to protect the Yun family. Goldface was stunned. He never thought that Yun Chujo would be completely uninterested in the League of Assassins. He thought that even if Yun Chujo did not take over, the man who was known as His Majesty would also take over. After all, the League of Assassins was an infamous organization. If it were not for Biming's warning, Yun Chujo would have taken over the League of Assassins. She had decided to focus on her cultivation, so she pretended to say that. However, she had shamelessly taken the League of Assassins leader's storage ring. The spirit stones in it probably amounted to half of the League's wealth. Miss Yun, you have done us a great favor. In the future, leave the guarding of the Yun family to us. As long as we are still alive, we will never let anyone hurt the Yun family. Goldface still felt like he was in a dream. The undefeatable chief in their eyes was really dead. In business, the expenses must be paid. Just give me a 20% discount. Big brother Goldface, please take care of the aftermath. We will leave now. If there is any news about the antidote, I will send someone to deliver the letter to you. But the first thing you need to do is pay for it. Chapter 543. Miss Zhou is really bold and unrestrained. Seeing that Yun Chujo insisted, Goldface could not say anything more. After chatting for a while, Yun Chujo and Di Biming left the League of Assassins alongside their men. Di Biming asked Feng to deliver the letter to the Linghua sect, and Yin to bring a dozen of his men to Longping Mountain to guard it. He then brought the rest of his men and Yun Chujo back to the Yun family via flying spirit tools. Little Joe, before Goldface and the others arrive, I will leave a few men to guard the Yun family. However, the spirit energy in Yi City is very thin. You'd better suggest that your grandfather moved the Yun family to Linghua City. Linghua City is rich in spiritual energy, and is also under the influence of the Linghua faction. It will be safer there, Di Biming suggested. Yun Chujo blinked her starry eyes and looked at Di Biming. My Prince Charming, I admire you so much now. Not only did you stop me from falling into the abyss of self-satisfaction, but you also considered so much for me. I love you so much. Di Biming's secret guards were all dumbfounded and shocked. Oh my god. This Miss Jo is really bold and unrestrained. We are too embarrassed to listen to these words. She is really too passionate. No wonder our revered one has been single for so many years. It turns out that she likes this bold behavior. None of the young ladies in the Tianyuan continent are this fierce. Di Biming's ears were sharp as he scolded. Speak properly. What nonsense are you spouting? Hurry up and cultivate. Have you forgotten what you said? Yun Chujo pouted and said, I know. I'll definitely cultivate properly. It won't be long before I surpass you. When that time comes, I'll teach you a lesson. The shadow agents secretly curled their lips. Miss Jo overestimated herself. They were at the 5th level of the exalted spiritual realm, and you? The 4th level of the spiritual enhancement realm. There's a huge difference between heaven and earth. Doesn't your face hurt when you say that? Yun Chujo started to meditate and cultivate while mumbling. She was used to being undisciplined. It was really difficult for her to just sit there all of a sudden. However, to not be bullied by others anymore, she had to go all out. Di Biming saw Yun Chujo had started to cultivate obediently, and felt a little gratified in his heart. The Black Thing's talent was amazing. As long as she cultivated diligently, she would be able to enter the Tianyuan continent very soon. When that time comes, we will be able to get along day and night. When Di Biming thought of something, his face turned hot. He could not help but look at Yun Chujo. When he saw her, he was so angry that his nose almost went crooked. He saw Yun Chujo's little head slowly falling asleep. The only person who could fall asleep during cultivation was Yun Chujo, this heartless person. Di Biming thought about it. Black Thing was exhausted from the day. She should not be in a hurry to succeed. She should take it slow. Di Biming took out a blanket from his storage ring and spread it out. After that, he gently carried Yun Chujo and placed her on it. The next morning, Yun Chujo and Di Biming arrived at the Yun family home. The Yun family was in a state of misery. Yun Xiaoshan's white hair turned white overnight, and he seemed to have aged 10 years. Grandfather. Grandfather. Little Joe, I'm back. Yun Xiaotian thought he was hallucinating and asked housekeeper Ji in a trembling voice, Old Ji, did you hear little Joe's voice? I heard it. I heard it too. Miss Joe must have returned safely. Housekeeper Ji said excitedly. Quick, quick. Follow me out to take a look. Just as Yun Xiaotian finished speaking, the door was pushed open, and a bright and beautiful little person jumped in. Grandfather. Little Joe is back. Chapter 544. Isn't your master very ugly? When Yun Xiaotian saw that Yun Chujo had returned unscathed, he wept and said, Good, good. Little Joe is still alive. The heavens really have eyes. When Yun Chujo saw that Yun Xiaotian had aged so much in one night, her heart ached. Grandfather, it's all little Joe's fault. I will not be naughty in the future. I will cultivate well so that no one will dare to bully our Yun family. I will also find my father and mother to come back and show respect to you. When Yun Xiaotian heard Yun Chujo's words, he hugged Yun Chujo and cried bitterly. Master, Miss Jo is back. You should be happy. Besides, there are still guests here. Housekeeper Ji consoled. Yun Xiaotian used his sleeve to wipe his tears. Only then did he realize that an imposing young man was standing at the door. So he asked Yun Chujo, "Little Joe, this is?" This is my man, my master. He was the one who smashed several doors of our Yun family." Yun Chujia's face turned slightly red and revealed a rare shy side to her. Yun Xiaotian was slightly stunned. "Little Joe, I remember that you told grandfather that your master is very ugly. He has scarred eyes, a nose like garlic, and a toad's mouth. This young man is so handsome. How could he be your master?" Yun Chujo wanted to stuff Yun Xiaoshan's mouth shut. "Grandfather, you are trying to kill me. The pretty boy will not let me off this time." Di Biming raised his eyebrows and secretly gritted his teeth. "Very good, black thing, just you wait. You are not afraid of getting even with me. I will deal with you later." Yun Chujo quickly made up for it. "Grandfather, are you old and have a bad memory? I clearly said that my master is handsome, beautiful, and looks better than Pan Yu." Yun Xiaotian saw that Yun Chujia's eyes were twitching, and he laughed dryly. Yes. Yes. My old bones have such a bad memory. Young master, don't take it seriously." Di Biming bowed to Yun Xiaotian as a junior and said with a faint smile, "Senior, there's no need to worry. I know little Joe's character very well. I won't blame her." Yun Xiaotian glanced between Di Biming and Yun Chujo, and immediately understood the relationship between the two of them. What bullshit? Were the two of them getting together? "Grandfather, it's all thanks to this man. The young master D saved me. Otherwise, I really wouldn't have been able to see you." Yun Chujo quickly changed the topic. Yun Xiaotian saw that Yun Chujo showed a rare look of a shy little girl and didn't expose her. So he asked about the incident. Yun Chujo was very excited as she told Yun Xiaotian about what happened. In short, she pushed all the credit to Di Biming and simplified the things that she had gone through so that Yun Xiaotian would not be worried. Yun Xiaotian heard Yun Chujia's words and had a very good impression of Di Biming. Not only was he a good-looking person, but he was also very good to little Joe. He could try to matchmake them. "Grandfather, I've thought about it. You should move the Yun family to Linghua City. You don't have to worry about the expenses. I have plenty of spirit stones now. Firstly, the spiritual qi is much denser than Yi City. Secondly, it's in Linghua Sect territory. It's also safer there. Most importantly, it's close. My brothers and sisters can often go back to see you." "Well, what you said makes sense, but the old house is left behind by our ancestors after all. Grandfather, at most, we can leave a few servants to guard it. We're not selling it. If you want to come back and take a look, I'll stay with you for a few days." "Let grandfather think about it again. You haven't had lunch yet, right? Let's have lunch first. Tomorrow, grandfather will make my decision." Chapter 545. What's his is mine. Yun Chujo and Di Biming came to the small courtyard where Yun Chujo used to live. The courtyard was already cleaned up. Chunyu was so happy when she saw Yun Chujo that she cried. Yun Chujo comforted the little girl and sent her out to get some tea and pastries. "Prince Charming, do you have any emotions when you visit the old place again?" Yun Chujo asked playfully. The corner of Di Biming's mouth curled up. He also recalled some of the past events. At that time he wished he could smash the black thing to death to refine medicine. He did not expect that his heart would actually be moved in the end. The two of them were silent for a moment, but their feelings were slowly developing. It was not until Chunyu brought over tea and pastries that Yun Chujia's face turned slightly red. She coughed dryly. "My Prince Charming, this jade token is marked with spider lilies. No matter how I look at it, it's very strange," said Yun Chujo to Di Biming as she took out the jade token with the spider lily pattern. "It is indeed somewhat unusual. However, since the person who wanted to kill you hired someone to kill you instead of personally taking action, it seems that he still has some reservations. As long as you take some precautions and don't give the enemy an opportunity, there won't be any danger for the time being." Di Biming was afraid that Yun Chujo would be too worried, so he comforted her. "Yeah, you dare try to kill me? When I return to the Linghua sect, I will cultivate properly. When I find out who did it, I will kill him." Yun Chujo said angrily. This matter could be considered to be the biggest loss she had suffered since she transmigrated. "Little Joe, remember what you said. If I find out that you've been lazy, I won't forgive you." The corners of Di Biming's mouth curled up. The little black thing's unyielding look was really, yes, quite pleasing to the eye. The next morning Yun Xiaotian decided to move to Linghua City, and the entire Yun residence got to work. The next morning, the members of the Yun family rode on Di Baiming's flying spirit tool and rushed to Linghua City. Little Joe, the houses in Linghua City are not cheap. If it doesn't work out, we will buy a smaller one. In any case, grandfather didn't bring many people here. Yun Xiaotian sighed inwardly. These years, the Yun family had accumulated quite a lot of silver. However, after arriving at Linghua City, the money was like small change. Yun Chuzhou was about to speak when Di Baiming said with a faint smile, "Senior, you don't have to worry. I have already arranged for my men to buy a new piece of property. You can stay here for now. If you are not satisfied, we can change it in the future." Yun Xiaotian was stunned. Is this fine? It's really, grandfather, you don't have to be polite with him. What's his is mine, mine is still mine. Using his spirit stones is no different from using mine. You can just stay there. Yun Chuzhou felt that the pretty boy was really doing a lot for her. She was really satisfied. When Yun Xiaotian saw this, he could only say a few polite words. It could be considered that he had received Di Baiming's good intentions. As soon as they entered Linghua City, An Feng came over to welcome them and brought them to the newly bought house. The house was not only spacious and grand, but it was also located in the bustling area of Linghua City. Yun Xiaotian was extremely satisfied, and the more he looked at Di Baiming, the more satisfied he became. It was not because this house was valuable, but because this kind of affection towards little Joe was truly rare. The Yun family had just settled down, and an inn had returned. As expected, nothing was found there. The buyer must have heard the news and did not show up. Just as Yun Chuzhou was about to return to the Linghua sect, Goldface arrived. "Miss Yun, when we were searching the League leader's bedroom, we made an important discovery." Yun Chuzhou was very curious. "What discovery?" Chapter 546. Eye of the Earth. We found the real leader of the League of Assassins. It turns out that all the leaders we've seen over the years are all fake. Goldface unveiled the bad news. "What? There's such a thing? Then is the true leader of the League still alive?" Yun Chuzhou asked in surprise. Although he's still alive, he was tortured until he was no longer human. The reason why the fake leader didn't kill the true leader was to interrogate him about a secret of the League of Assassins. The true leader resisted the torture and didn't reveal anything. That's why he's still alive. Goldface sighed. "Then when was your true leader captured?" 8 years ago. "Then didn't you find any clues?" "Miss Yun, we also suspected that in recent years, the fake leader not only made us take poison pills but also made us more violent. Most importantly, he even played with some young girls. We thought that it was the leader's cultivation that caused his temperament to change. We didn't think that he was a fake." "The 3 rules of your league were also set by the true league leader, right?" Yun Chuzhou asked. Goldface nodded. This rule was indeed set by the true league leader. Perhaps the fake league leader was afraid of being exposed, so he kept them as they were. No wonder. Initially, when I heard these 3 rules, I thought that the leader of the League of Assassins was a decent person. I didn't expect him to be an old bastard. Turns out he was a fake. Yun Chuzhou initially decided to try to talk to the leader of the League of Assassins because of these 3 rules. Who would have thought that he was a fake? Yun Chuzhou did not ask what secret the fake leader of Goldface wanted to know. The secret that the real leader had risked his life to protect must be very important to the League of Assassins. Unexpectedly, Goldface took the initiative to say, "Miss Yun, our real leader is grateful to you for saving the League of Assassins. He asked me to tell you that the thing that the fake League leader wanted to know about was the Eye of the Earth." Yun Chuzhou was at a loss. What the hell was the Eye of the Earth? Di Baiming was shocked. He explained to Yun Chuzhou, "Every continent has an Eye of the Earth. The Eye of the Earth continuously sends out qi. The spiritual qi is formed from the qi of the Eye of the Earth. The Eye of the Earth contains a huge amount of energy. If a person cultivates in it, he will have an astonishing cultivation speed. However, if the Eye of the Earth is destroyed, then the entire continent will lose its qi." Ah, what the fuck? That fake leader's intentions were larger than we thought. Then he isn't alone. This jade token with the spider lily should be the sigil of that organization. Could it be that they want to destroy the Azure Mystic Continent? Yun Chujo said in shock. Di Biming's brows furrowed tightly. Since this organization's plans were so grand, it was likely that they weren't from the Azure Mystic Continent. Then where did they come from? Does your leader know the location of the Eye of the Earth? Yun Chujo asked curiously. Goldface shook his head. He smiled bitterly. Our leader doesn't know at all. He has been lying to that fake leader to save his life. I don't know why that person thinks that our true leader knew about the Eye of the Earth. Our League of Assassins has met with an undeserved calamity. Yun Chujo blinked her eyes. It was not as if the true leader did not know about it. However, after this incident, she had become more cautious, so she naturally denied it. However, she was not interested in the Eye of the Earth. Whether or not he knew about it had nothing to do with her. However, the power behind this must not be underestimated. However, she did not know if the person who hired the fake leader to kill her was related to this power. Chapter 547. I will stay behind to supervise you after Goldface left, Di Biming said to Yun Chujo solemnly. It seems that the matter is much more serious than we thought. The faction behind the fake leader is very powerful. You must immediately return to the Linghua sect and inform Master Xianyuan about this. Let him join forces with the other factions to investigate this matter thoroughly. Yun Chujo nodded and bade farewell to Yun Xiaotian before returning to the Linghua sect. Yun Chujo told Master Xianyuan about what had happened with the fake league leader. And Master Xianyuan was also shocked. I've only heard of the Eye of the Earth. Its location is very secretive. Some say it's in the heart of the 10,000-year-old ancient tree. Some say it's in the nest of 10,000-year-old demon beasts. And some say it's on the seabed of the deep sea. In short, for tens of thousands of years, no one has known the location of the Eye of the Earth. Just what kind of force is so bold and reckless to want to involve the Eye of the Earth? They would make an enemy out of the entire Azure Mystic Continent. Master Xianyuan said angrily. Master Xianyuan, this matter is of great importance. I suggest that you try your best to let a limited number of people know about this matter, and then use some roundabout methods during investigations. Di Biming suggested. Master Xianyuan nodded. Young Master Di, what you said is right. I will discuss it with the other 3 sect leaders and then decide on the next step. Little Jiu, since the true culprit has not been found, don't leave the Linghua sect for the time being. Yun Chujo nodded. Master Xianyuan, don't worry. I have already decided. From now on, I will work hard and cultivate. Master Xianyuan deeply doubted what little Jiu just said. This little girl couldn't stay idle at all. How could she spend time cultivating in the courtyard? As long as she doesn't cause trouble for me, I will be satisfied. Yun Chujo saw Master Xuanyuan's doubtful look and immediately became angry. Master Xianyuan, do you not believe that I can do it? Let's wait and see. I will make sure that the back mountain of Middle Peak is struck by lightning from time to time. Master Xianyuan reacted for a moment before he understood what Yun Chujo meant. This fellow would be struck by lightning once he advanced. If he was struck by lightning from time to time, he would continue to advance. Master Xianyuan couldn't help but laugh. Then I will be waiting for the good news. Go back and cultivate properly. I have to inform the other 3 masters about the Eye of the Earth. Yun Chujo left the jade token with the spider lily engraved on it to Master Xianyuan. Then she hopped back to her courtyard with Di Biming. Yun Chizi and the others were waiting at the entrance of the courtyard. When they saw Yun Chujo, they couldn't help but feel excited. Yun Chujia's small face was very serious as she said, Brothers and sisters, this matter has rung a warning bell for us. We have to hurry up and cultivate. From now on, if the sect has a suitable trial mission, we have to participate. We can quickly increase our combat experience and also increase our spiritual power that way. Yun Chuzi and the others nodded. This matter had dealt a huge blow to them, especially when they watched Yun Chujo being taken away. But they were powerless. That kind of helplessness, the feeling of incompetence, was painful to the bone. After Yun Chuzi and the others left, Di Biming said, I have nothing else to do for the time being. I will stay here to supervise your cultivation. If you participate in the trial, I will also follow you. Firstly, I will ensure your safety. Secondly, I will prevent you from taking advantage of others. During the trial, firstly, you are not allowed to use defensive spirit tools. Secondly, you are not allowed to use spirit pets. And thirdly, you are not allowed to use poison talismans. You must use your skills and spiritual power to win. Yun Chujo suddenly felt her future fade away. Chapter 548. Yun Chujia's guarantee. Black thing, what's with that expression of yours? Have you forgotten what you said? Di Biming raised his eyebrows and questioned Yun Chujo when he saw that she looked like she had nothing to live for. Prince Charming, you've misunderstood. I'm touched. You've done your job well. You've worked so hard for my sake. Yun Chujo said flatteringly. Di Biming frowned. Why did the last sentence sound so awkward? My Prince Charming, let's eat first. I'll start cultivating right after we finish eating. I'll keep my word. Yun Chujo quickly changed the topic. After the two of them finished their dinner, Yun Chujo blinked her eyes and said, My Prince Charming, my defensive spirit tools have been broken by that fake League of Assassins leader. Give me a few more for self-defense. I promise I won't use them up. Di Biming also felt that it was necessary to give her a few defensive spirit tools. If she encountered a strong enemy, she would have an extra life-saving method, so he said, I'll ask Anine to go back tomorrow and get a few for you. You can cultivate in peace first. Yun Chujo nodded her head happily and began to cultivate bitterly. It was easy to go from frugality to extravagance, but not vice versa. After sitting for a while, Yun Chujo felt that her legs were sore, her arms uncomfortable, and even her hair felt itchy. Prince Charming, can I rest for a while? Yun Chujo asked pitifully. It's only been 2 hours, why should I rest? Continue. If you continue to be noisy, you won't be sleeping tonight. Di Biming glared at her. Yun Chujo pursed her lips and could only continue to cultivate. From this day on, Yun Chujia's miserable days began. Other than eating and sleeping, she spent all her time cultivating. If she slacked off for even a moment, Di Biming's knife would fly towards her. Di Biming saw that Yun Chujo was still slacking off from time to time, and in a fit of anger, he forced her to write a letter of apology. Yun Chujo pouted and wrote a letter in a carefree manner. Then she threw it to Di Biming arrogantly. Take it. Di Biming looked at it and was furious. This fellow was indeed a repeat offender. After the 3 big words of the letter of apology, it was 0000001 again. Dear Prince Charming, I promise that I will be conscientious and diligent in the future. I will cultivate according to your arrangements every day. Although such inhuman cultivation will seriously affect my growth and development and hinder my beautiful curves, to make Prince Charming feel at ease and make me stronger, I will definitely cultivate well. Secondly, I promise that I will not be complacent in the future, and will not take advantage of opportunities. I will be an honest person and do things conscientiously. If I cannot do the above 2 points, I will willingly accept my Prince Charming's scolding and domestic violence. Guarantor. Little Jo has been tortured to the point where she has nothing to live for. When Di Biming saw the growth and beautiful curves, he naturally thought of the sentence that Yun Chujo once said, use your chest to suffocate you. He could not help but feel a little hot all over his body. He shouted angrily, what kind of nonsense is this? Continue to cultivate. Yun Chujo pouted and could only continue to cultivate. Yun Chujo was a person who muddled along. However, once she became serious, even she scared herself. In less than half a month, she was going to break through again. Haha. I am now at the 4th layer of the spirit cultivator realm. I wonder how many layers I will break through this time. A genius is indeed a genius. As long as you work hard, you will improve rapidly. Some people are useless even if they are jealous. Yun Chujo glanced at Di Biming. Di Biming sneered, black thing, are you going to slack off again? Do you need me to take out your apology letter so that you can recall what you said? Chapter 549. Yun Chujia's life was hanging by a thread. Yun Chujo immediately became listless. She pouted and said, You have to praise me for my good performance, right? If you continue to hit me like this, I will lose my confidence. Biming snorted coldly and ignored her. Biming thought to himself, even if all the people in Qingxian continent had lost their confidence, you would not. Your self-confidence is limitless. Seeing that Biming ignored her, Yun Chuzhou cursed Wu Yun dozens of times. Seeing that the dark clouds in the sky had already floated over, she hopped towards the back mountain of Zhongfeng. Biming was worried, so he followed her. Prince Charming, don't worry. I'm used to being struck by lightning. Even if I don't get struck every other day, I still feel like I'm lacking something. Yun Chuzhou said with a smile. Biming was not too nervous. Seeing that Wu Yun was not too heavy, he probably just wanted to leave after a few strikes. Yun Chuzhou looked up. Wasn't this the Wu Yun that helped her to fight the fake league leader? She waved her hands at the sky with a smile. Hey, little Wu Yun, long time no see. Did you miss me? I missed you a lot. The dark clouds in the sky shook slightly, as a greeting to Yun Chuzhou. Come on, little Wu Yun, strike me. You know that I'm a little scourge that can't be killed by chopping. You don't have to waste your energy. Just strike me a few times as a token. You should go back as soon as possible after chopping me. You might be able to make it in time for lunch. Yun Chuzhou stood there casually. Wu Yun, she said to the dark clouds in the sky. The dark clouds in the sky had already formed a friendship with Yun Chuzhou. As expected, they just casually struck Yun Chuzhou a few times and floated away. The corner of Biming's eyes twitched. Could this Wu Yun have been infected by something? It's a perfectly fine cloud. If you don't float away, why are you still jumping up and down? TSK. This is indeed a familiar cloud that's easy to handle. It's done so easily. In the future, as long as this little Wu Yun comes to attack me, won't I be able to do it so easily every time? It seems that if other clouds come to attack me in the future, I have to have a good relationship with them too. Prince Charming, guess how many levels I've leveled up this time? Yun Chuzhou asked proudly. Damn, my efforts have finally paid off. All these days of suffering had not been in vain. 2 levels. Biming raised his eyebrows. TCH, can a genius like me be so weak? 3 levels. I am now at the 7th layer of the spirit cultivator realm. Yun Chuzhou's words came to an abrupt stop. Her eyes rolled and she actually fainted. Biming was shocked and quickly grabbed Yun Chuzhou's waist. Yun Chuzhou's face turned extremely pale, and it was as if all of her life force had suddenly disappeared. Biming's eyes were blood red. He trembled as he placed his hand on Yun Chuzhou's pulse. Fortunately, although Yun Chuzhou's pulse was very weak, she was still alive. Biming was helpless at this moment. He had already given Yun Chuzhou the only chaos vitality pill he had last time. Although he had a lot of pills with him, he was afraid that the medicine would not be right and would end up harming Yun Chuzhou. Biming carried Yun Chuzhou like a madman and went to find Elder Qi. Elder Qi, who was studying the antidote of the League of Assassins, was shocked. After checking Yun Chuzhou's pulse, his face turned pale. She is neither poisoned nor injured, but the life force in her body is fading rapidly. I'm afraid she won't last for more than 3 days. After receiving the news, Master Xinyuan rushed over with a group of elders. Although everyone was anxious, they could not find the reason why Yun Chuzhou suddenly fainted. Chapter 550. There was a stalk of grass in her dantian. Biming looked at the pale-faced Yun Chuzhou on the bed. The dull pain in his heart was as sharp as a knife. Just a moment ago she was still showing off to him. How did she suddenly become like this? Young Master D, did little Jiu have any hidden illness in the past? Elder Qi could not find the cause of Yun Chuzhou's illness and was also sweating profusely. Biming's expression changed. Could it be the strange grass in the Guaichao's dantian? Last time it was because of the fight between the Guaichao and the Great Void Mirror that the Guaichao was in unbearable pain. Could it be that the Guaichao was behind this again? Elder Qi, if there is a foreign object in the dantian, can it be taken out? There is a foreign object in the dantian? How is that possible? A person's dantian is extremely fragile. Even the slightest mistake in cultivation could cause cracks to appear in the dantian, let alone a foreign object. If the dantian is destroyed, then this person's cultivation will come to an end. What if there really is a foreign object? Biming also felt that this situation was inconceivable. However, there was indeed a foreign object in Black Thing's dantian. Fuck, it wasn't just one but two. Even if this situation really exists, it can't be taken out. Unless the dantian is taken out through a rupture of the abdomen, then this person will become a cripple and won't be able to cultivate for the rest of his life. Elder Chi was suddenly stunned. Then, he looked at Yun Chujio, who was lying on the bed in fear. Young Master D, do you mean to say that there is something in little Jiu's dantian? Biming swept his gaze across the room. Seeing that everyone in the room was trustworthy, he said in a low voice, that's right. There is something growing in little Jiu's dantian. A blade of grass. I suspect that it is because of that little Jiu became like this. What the hell? Everyone in the room felt that the young Master D was most likely crazy. What was he talking about? There's a blade of grass growing in little Jiu's dantian? Fuck, did you think that it was a field? There's even a blade of grass growing. This was ridiculous to the extreme. Young Master D, is what you said true? Elder Chi also felt that this young Master D was most likely too upset, and was starting to talk nonsense. It's true. There is indeed a stalk of grass in little Jiu's dantian. I wonder if there is a way to take it out? Elder Chi shook his head like a rattle drum. Young Master D, I've already said that it isn't possible unless we cut open her abdomen and take out her dantian. If that's the case, even if we succeed, little Jiu won't be able to continue cultivating. Biming also knew that this information was difficult to process. After all, in the past tens of thousands of years, there was only one exception when it came to growing grass in one's dantian. He nodded. You guys can go back first. I want to be alone with little Jiu for a while. Elder Chi thought to himself that this was his room. However, he knew that Biming's heart was in a mess, so he did not say much and followed everyone out. Biming held Yun Chujio's cold little hand. Little Jiu, didn't you say that you're a little troublemaker who can't die? Didn't you say that you're the most powerful? I still have 100 of your supreme grade spirit stones here. If you don't wake up, I'll take it for myself. You can't bear to let me do that, right? If you can't bear that, then quickly wake up. Biming did not know what he was talking about. He could only keep talking so that he would not think about what would happen if the Black Thing never woke up. He could only keep talking so that he would feel that the Black Thing was still alive. Even though Biming's voice was hoarse, Yun Chujio still showed no signs of waking up. Moreover, her pulse was getting weaker and the vitality in her body was rapidly draining. Chapter 551. I will accompany you and protect you. Biming walked out of the room and said to Elder Chi, I'll return to the Tianyuan continent to look for my master. Best case scenario is that I can find him. If I can't find him, I will return in 2 days. When the time comes, please take out little Jiu's dantian. Although cultivation is important, it is more important to protect little Jiu's life. I will find a way to reconstruct her dantian. Elder Chi nodded. Young Master D, don't be too sad. Little Jiu has the heavens on her side. Maybe things will turn for the better. Biming nodded and immediately returned to the Tianyuan continent on a flying spirit tool to look for his master, the old man of Lake Tianqi. The old man of Lake Tianqi did not have a fixed residence. He should be in seclusion somewhere. Biming had sent him a voice transmission talisman the last time, but there was no reply. Biming knew that the chances of finding the old man were very low, but he had to give it a try even if it was only a 1 in 10,000 success rate. It was not that Biming had not thought of looking for other mighty figures in the Tianyuan continent to treat Yun Chujio. Firstly, Yun Chujio's spiritual power was low, and she could not enter the Tianyuan continent. Secondly, those mighty figures did not have permanent abodes and he could not find them in a short period of time. Thirdly, Yun Chujio had too many secrets. If he was not careful, not only would he not be able to treat her, but he would also invite trouble. Biming traveled day and night, pushing the speed of his flying spirit tool to its limit. He and his subordinates went to a few places that the old man might have gone to, but they still could not find his whereabouts. Even though Beiming was mentally prepared, he still felt disheartened. Although he had the Dantian reconstruction technique, the technique was difficult to execute. On top of that, even if he succeeded, the reconstructed Dantian would be extremely fragile. If he was not careful, it would shatter again. If he was truly careless, he might even lose his life. Beiming returned to Spirit Radiance sect. When Elder Qi and the others saw Beiming's expression, they knew that he had returned empty-handed. Elder Qi sighed, "Young Master D, this is little Zhou's fate. Don't be too sad." Beiming had not a drop of water for 2 days and 2 nights. He looked haggard and asked in a hoarse voice, "How is little Zhou? I'm afraid she won't last until tomorrow morning." "Young Master D, I've already prepared the tools and pills to cut her abdomen open and remove her Dantian. Go in and take a look at little Zhou. Let's hurry up." Although Elder Qi knew that taking out her Dantian was the last resort, if she did not have her Dantian removed immediately, little Zhou might really lose her life. Beiming entered the room and saw Yun Chuzhou lying in bed lifelessly. If it was not for the slight rise and fall of her chest, she would have been no different from a dead person. Beiming knelt by the bed and grabbed Yun Chuzhou's hand as tears fell. "Little Zhou, it's my fault. I couldn't find my master. I couldn't protect your Dantian. If you woke up and found yourself a cripple, you would definitely blame me, right? However, I can't just watch you die. Even if there was a chance of survival, I would want you to survive. Don't worry. I will accompany you to find my master to rebuild your Dantian and search for all the heavenly and earthly treasures that can prolong your life. From now on, you don't have to work hard to cultivate. I will accompany you and protect you. Don't you like reading storybooks? I will get someone to buy all the storybooks. I will accompany you to read them, okay?" Beiming really hoped that Yun Chuzhou would open her eyes then and say to him with a smile, "Don't go back on your words." However, Yun Chuzhou laid there without any vitality, as if she had fallen into deep sleep forever. Chapter 552. I Can't Die in Peace. Yun Chuzhou, who was floating above the bed, was laughing her head off. "Oh my, it's quite touching when a gigolo talks about love." Yun Chuzhou broke into tears after laughing. Fuck. Who would be able to calm down after waking up and discovering that she had turned into a wandering soul? When Yun Chuzhou regained consciousness, she discovered that her body was lying on the bed, while she was floating in the air. She was a little confused at first. When did another me appear? Later, she realized that her soul had left her body and she was a wandering soul. Yun Chuzhou was like a spectator as she watched Beiming, Elder Qi, and the others discussing her illness. At first, this fellow thought that it was quite fun and floated down to touch Beiming's face. Unfortunately, her hand went through Beiming's body and did not touch anything. She was a little anxious. She wanted to return to her body, but every time she went through it, she could not merge with her body. This girl ran into her body hundreds of times at lightning speed, but still could not return to her body. She then started crying. "Damn heavens! You can't stand to see me doing well. I just turned into a little beauty, and you did this to me. Sob sob. I didn't even have time to defile the gigolo and just died like that. Oh God, if I die, the gigolo will benefit others. Fuck. I still don't know who wants to kill me. I can't even die in peace. I haven't found my adoptive parents yet, and I still don't know where I came from. I'm about to choke on my own fart. I really can't accept this." Yun Chuzhou tried all kinds of methods, but she was still unable to return to her body. This fellow was able to adapt to the situation. Perhaps it was because she had transmigrated, so her soul had left her body. It did not matter. Besides, she gained those 2 years of experience. Before she faces death's door, she might as well head out and look at all the humans and beasts. Yun Chuzhou tried to float away, but she realized that she could not be too far away from her body. She could only float around the house. Yun Chuzhou was so bored that she wanted to hit the wall. Of course, this fellow had also hit the wall, but her soul just passed through the wall without being damaged. Now that she heard Dee Biming's affectionate narration, she grinned and howled. Sob sob. My gigolo, I can't bear to part with you either. But we are destined to be separated. Fuck. If I knew who caused me to become like this, I wouldn't forgive him. The gigolo said that it was the strange grass who caused the trouble. But was it really the green foxtail who made me like that? Sobs. I told you. I am the worm of Cordyceps sinensis. I am a pig that is fattened and waiting to be slaughtered. Strange grass, you've harmed me, so you won't be able to recover either. Humph. In a while, Elder Chi will take out my dantian. The gigolo will definitely tear you into pieces. And that broken mirror. What a bullshit piece of divine weapon. Are you just going to watch as your landlord is killed? Aren't you afraid that you won't have a house to live in the future? If I were you, I would smack strange grass to death. Just as Yun Chujo was muttering to herself, she saw Elder Chi walk in with some tools that were prepared to help Yun Chujo retrieve her dantian. Young Master D, it's about time. If we delay any longer, I'm afraid that little Joe won't be able to hold on until then. Dee Biming nodded. Then let's begin. Yun Chujia's emotions were very complicated at that moment. Fuck, who else would be able to watch their stomach get cut open? Chapter 553. Definitely the work of strange grass. Young Master D, pry open little Joe's mouth. I will feed this anesthetic pill to her. After the anesthetic pill takes effect, I will perform the cut, Elder Chi said to Dee Biming. Dee Biming pried open Yun Chujia's mouth. Just as Elder Chi placed the pill to Yun Chujia's lips, the pill was actually sucked in. Elder Chi and Dee Biming were stunned. Elder Chi said in surprise, Little Joe, are you awake? Dee Biming was both happy and scared. He looked nervously at Yun Chujo on the bed, but her face was still pale. She lay there lifelessly. Could it be that my hands are shaking? I'll try feeding little Joe another blood coagulation pill. Elder Chi gestured for Dee Biming to pry open Yun Chujia's mouth again. Elder Chi placed the blood coagulation pill to Yun Chujia's lips with a slight tremble. Then the pill was sucked in once again. Yun Chujo, who was floating in the air, could not help but twitch her lips. It must be that damn grass trick. It must be hungry. Damn. You dare to torture me to death. This time you are going to be finished too. Young Master D, what's going on? Little Joe did not wake up. Why is this pill being swallowed by itself? Elder Chi asked in shock. Dee Biming's brows were tightly furrowed, and his eyes suddenly lit up. He took out a bottle of pills from his storage ring and stuffed them into Yun Chujia's mouth one by one. Elder Chi's face was filled with shock. What was young Master D doing this time? Was this the way to eat pills? Young Master D. Stop. Are you trying to kill little Joe? Elder Chi angrily shouted. Elder Chi. This might be the way to save little Joe. That strange grass in her dantian likes to eat medicinal pills. Perhaps after feeding it, little Joe will wake up. Dee Biming said with a trembling voice. What the hell? It was strange enough that there was grass in her dantian. It actually eats medicinal pills. Are you sure you are talking about grass? Elder Chi saw that Dee Biming did not seem to be lying, so he could only watch in a daze as Dee Biming stuffed bottle after bottle of medicinal pills into Yun Chujia's mouth. Elder Chi was surprised to find that Yun Chujia's face was not as pale as before as more and more pills were stuffed into her mouth. Yun Chujo, who was floating in the air, rubbed her chin and cursed, fuck. Looking at this, it seems that this incident was definitely caused by strange grass. Damn it, just you wait. If I die, then so be it. But if I come back to life, let's see how I will deal with you. Very quickly, Dee Biming's storage ring was almost emptied of medicinal pills. Elder Chi quickly took out a few bottles of medicinal pills and handed them to Dee Biming. Who would have thought that when Dee Biming put these medicinal pills into Yun Chujia's mouth, she would actually spit them out? Dee Biming and Elder Chi were stunned. Dee Biming frowned and then his eyes lit up. It must be that the strange grass dislikes low-grade medicinal pills. Elder Chi, quick. Go to the spirit herb garden and get more high-grade medicinal herbs. Break them and feed them to little Jiu. Elder Chi ran out to gather the medicinal herbs with a dumbfounded expression. What the hell is this grass? Not only did it grow in her dantian, it even swallows medicinal pills. The most infuriating thing is that it's picky. It's really too weird. Master Xianyuan and the others were originally waiting outside. When they saw Elder Chi run out like a rabbit, they quickly ran back into the house. Everyone was worried. Could there be an emergency? Hopefully everything goes smoothly. Chapter 554. Shameless supercilious grass. Elder Chi put in a lot of effort. All of the herbs he picked were high-grade spirit herbs. Even the 10 earth-grade, high-grade herbs that Xue Wuji gave were brought over as well. Yun Chuzhou was very touched. TSK. Although I'm very uninteresting, I still have a good relationship with people, right? Elder Chi is such a stingy person, but he actually plucked all these good herbs for me. It's really touching. Damn grass. Just you wait. You eat what's mine, sooner or later it'll make you spit it out. Elder Chi crushed the herbs and fed them to Yun Chuzhou. As expected, this time she did not spit them out. She swallowed them happily and impatiently. Elder Chi's worldview was refreshed. Only Yun Chuzhou, this little demon, had such a strange thing growing in her dantian. As more and more herbs were fed, Yun Chuzhou's face gradually became rosier, and her pulse became stronger. Di Biming and Elder Chi were ecstatic. Great! Little Zhou could be saved. Young Master Di, since little Zhou is getting better, let's stop feeding her herbs for the time being. We'll keep an eye on her. You should rest first. Don't let little Zhou fall ill when she wakes up. Elder Chi said to Di Biming. Di Biming shook his head. I'll just sit here and meditate. You should go back and rest. The two of them were worried about Yun Chuzhou, so they decided to stay. However, they soon discovered a problem. Although Yun Chuzhou was getting better, a day and a night had passed, but Yun Chuzhou still had not woken up. What's going on? Little Zhou's body should have fully recovered by now, so why isn't she awake yet? Elder Chi was puzzled. Di Biming also frowned. What on earth was going on? Yun Chuzhou pointed at her stomach and cursed, Fuck! Fuck! Oh my god! Fuck! You damn foxtail! Are you planning to take over this body? Do you think that because you've taken over my body, my Prince Charming will feed you medicinal pills and herbs every day? Dream on. My Prince Charming is wise and mighty. He will soon see through your tricks. When I get you out, I will step on you with my feet. I will chop you with a large kitchen knife. I will beat you with a rolling pin. I will fry you with a frying pan. I don't believe that I can't kill you. Di Biming, who was watching Yun Chuzhou by the bed, noticed that Yun Chuzhou was trembling and could not help but shout in surprise, Elder Chi. Little Zhou moved. Little Zhou moved just now. Elder Chi also rushed forward and stared at Yun Chuzhou with anticipation, hoping that she would awaken immediately. Yun Chuzhou saw that Strange Grass was afraid, so she continued to curse Strange Grass. You heartless evil grass. If it weren't for me, you would still be a seed. I would be equivalent to your mother. You actually want to kill your mother, you ungrateful grass. Even if you take over my body, you will not be able to survive in the grass world anymore. You will be notorious for thousands of years. Yun Chuzhou, who was lying on the bed, trembled even more violently. Yun Chuzhou decided to continue her efforts. Strange Grass, you won't be satisfied so easily, right? Are you satisfied with these lousy medicinal herbs? If you kill me, you will never be able to eat those gold-patterned medicinal pills again. If I don't die, I will become more and more powerful. In the future, forget about earth-grade, high-grade herbs. Even heaven-grade herbs will be easy to obtain. I've already said it clearly enough. Whether you want to be a shameless, supercilious grass or a conscientious grass with integrity, you decide. Chapter 555. Was little Zhou possessed by a ghost at that moment? In Yun Chuzhou's dantian, the strange plant had already grown its fourth leaf. Since it swallowed a large number of medicinal pills and herbs, the 4 leaves were glossy and shiny. When it heard Yoon Chujia's words, the leaf swayed nonstop as if it was unable to make up its mind. Yoon Chujio continued to say, "Little mirror, you will have no place to live if I die. Do you still want those fragments of yours? Don't you want to become an awe-inspiring divine artifact once again?" The void mirror trembled, and then it slammed toward the roots of the strange grass. Yoon Chujio, who was lying on the bed, twitched in pain, and a layer of cold sweat immediately appeared on her head. Di Biming and Elder Chi were shocked, but they did not know what was going on, so they could only be anxious. Yoon Chujio jumped up and cheered for the void mirror. "Little mirror, well done. Since I can't live anymore, why don't you kill strange grass? Hit it well. Kill this ungrateful supercilious grass." Yoon Chujio was shouting vigorously when suddenly, a huge suction force came, followed by a sharp pain from her dantian. "Fuck! It hurts so much. Little mirror, stop. Landlord, I'm back." Yoon Chujio realized that her soul and body had become one, so she quickly stopped the mirror from doing anything. The great void mirror hit the strange grass hard again, and only then did it return to its own territory. Strange grass noticed Yoon Chujia's spiritual sense, and all 4 of its leaves curled up. It looked like it was too ashamed to see anyone. "Strange grass, I didn't expect you to have such evil intentions. You actually want to take over your nesting ground. You really are a black-hearted, pompous grass. Just you wait, I won't let you off. I'll cut you out of my abdomen right now. I don't want this dantian anymore. Little mirror, don't worry. I'll treat you well. As for you, strange grass, I'll fry you, chop you up with a knife, torture you in 18 way." Strange grass roots kept shaking, and its 4 leaves kept swaying as if it was begging for mercy. Yoon Chujio snorted coldly, "Hypocrite. I was deceived by your hypocrisy in the past. This time I'll remove you no matter what. I want to see if your heart is truly evil. You black-hearted, supercilious grass." Strange grass stopped trembling and seemed as though it was hesitating. Then, Yoon Chujio noticed that there were strands of green light emitting from strange grass body and swimming into her veins. Yoon Chujio felt that her meridians were extremely comfortable. It was as if her entire body was filled with strength. Her meridians became sturdier. Cough, cough. It was as though 2 small steamed buns had popped up on her chest. Yoon Chujio's eyes lit up. "Oh my, this strange grass can actually do that. Then wouldn't my plan of using my chest to suffocate the gigolo be easily realized?" Di Biming and Elder Chi stared blankly at Yoon Chujio on the bed. What the hell was that wretched smile on her face? Was little Gio possessed by a ghost? "Little Gio? Little Gio? Are you awake?" Di Biming asked in a slightly trembling voice. Yoon Chujio opened her eyes and laughed dryly. "Prince Charming, I've made you worry. Anyway, will you still keep your promise? Can I ask an phone to buy storybooks for me?" Di Biming knelt by the bed and hugged Yoon Chujio. He laid his head on Yoon Chujio's body and was silent for a long time. Elder Chi saw this and tactfully retreated. Only then did he think of his herbs. His heart ached so much that he groaned. Chapter 556. Supercilious grass. After a long while, Di Biming finally raised his head, but his eyes were slightly red. It seemed that he did not want Yoon Chujio to see him cry. Yoon Chujio's nose was sore. She sat up and hugged Di Biming's neck. "Sob sob. Prince Charming, I thought I would never see you again. I thought I was going to be taken over by that strange grass. Sob sob, that damned strange grass is really a supercilious grass. If I didn't threaten it to cut its belly, that bastard wouldn't have let me come back. Sob sob, if it wasn't for little mirror helping me teach it a lesson, that damned strange grass might not really have let me back into the body. That black-hearted bastard. Sob sob, the thing I regret the most is that I choked on my fart before I managed to pounce on and defile you. If I die, it will definitely benefit some coquettish bitch." Di Biming glared at her. "What nonsense are you spouting? You won't die. I'll find a way to help you get that grass out of your body sooner or later." Yoon Chujio saw Di Biming's slightly red ears and said with a smile, "Prince Charming, are you shy? Biming looked at Yoon Chujia's smiling face with tears still hanging on it and hugged her, covering his lips with hers. Yoon Chujia's head exploded like thousands of fireworks blooming in the night sky. Since when did the gigolo become so whiny? But I like it. The two of them lingered on each other's lips for a long time. Yoon Chujio rolled her eyes and started to play dirty tricks. Gigolo, I'll give it to you today. Bang! She pounced forward. Since Biming was kneeling on the ground and Yoon Chujio was sitting on the bed, Biming was instantly pushed to the ground by Yoon Chujio. Biming was about to get up when Yoon Chujio hugged Biming's face and kissed him. Young Master D. I heard that little Joe is awake? Little Joe, we came to see you. Cough cough. I didn't see anything, my eyesight hasn't been very good recently. When Elder Chu, Master Xianyuan, and the others heard that Yoon Chujio was awake, they could not wait to visit her. Who would have thought that they would see Yoon Chujio the moment they entered the house? Oh God, was this the same person who was so sick that she was about to die? She was just a perverted little wolf, was she not? It was really too much to see. They could not bear to look straight at her. Biming's face instantly turned red. No matter how thick-skinned Yoon Chujio was, the moment she was exposed, her face also turned slightly red. However, this fellow's skin wasn't something that an ordinary person could compare to. After a moment of embarrassment, he calmly said, Prince Charming, quickly get up. Don't be so careless in the future. If you didn't fall and I didn't have to help you, would I have fallen? I've just recovered from a serious illness, and my body is weak as it is. This fall makes my head feel dizzy. After saying that, she got up and laid on the bed, pretending to be dead. Poor Biming stood up with a red face. He did not even dare to look at Master Xianyuan and the others. He wished that he could strangle Yoon Chujio, who was pretending to be dead on the bed. Master Xianyuan quickly said, Well, since little Joe is feeling dizzy, let's visit her another day. I have something to do anyway. Goodbye. Yes. Yes. I also have something to do. Me too. Goodbye. Master Xianyuan and the others left in a flash. Biming said to Yoon Chujio fiercely, Black thing. Very good. You sold me out at a critical moment. I must punish you well. Yoon Chujio jumped up from the bed and rushed out of the room. Well, Prince Charming, I'll go back to the dormitory first. See you later. Chapter 557. Worry. Although Biming was gritting his teeth in anger on the surface, his heart was occupied by the immense joy of Yoon Chujio waking up. He could not believe that the black thing was really cured. However, he was still very worried in his heart. The grass in her dantian was like a sharp sword on her neck. Could kill her at any moment. Yoon Chujio took out the chopping board and ran back to the dormitory as if a wolf was chasing after her. Wasn't that embarrassing? The gigolo was actually surrounded by people. These old guys had no manners at all. They actually barged in without knocking on the door. Damn it. If I were to do something bad again, I'd definitely activate the isolation array. This girl thought of her little steamed buns. Oh my, they've bulged a little. It seems that I'm one step closer to becoming a great beauty. Biming entered the bedroom and saw Yoon Chujio. Biming's face instantly turned red. He turned around and stammered, Black thing. What are you doing in broad daylight? Yoon Chujio's face turned even redder. She shouted, Who told you to come in without knocking? I didn't do anything. I was just taking a look. They've really made some progress. Biming, who was looking at her face, was stunned at first. Then he thought of something and his nose started bleeding. Prince Charming, why is your nose bleeding again? This is an illness. You need to be treated. Otherwise, you'll bleed to death in the future. Biming glared at her, covered his nose and ran away. Yoon Chujio giggled happily. Gigolo, you want to fight with me? I'll tease you to death. Biming entered the bedroom with a straight face. Black thing, tell me in detail what happened this time. It's the damn foxtail. When I woke up, I found my soul had left my body. I just floated in the air and watched you guys. Yoon Chujio told him what she had experienced. Are you saying that the strange grass wants to take your body for its own? Can control your body? Yes, previously in the desert, This supercilious grass controlled my body and made me drink a lot of water. Prince Charming, this pig of a grass is getting fatter and fatter, and I think it's about to kill me. A rare trace of worry appeared on Yun Chujia's small face. Although Di Biming was even more worried, he calmly said to Yun Chujio, "Black Thing, you don't have to worry too much. I've already sent my subordinates to look for my master. As long as I find my master, I will definitely have a way to get rid of this strange grass." Yun Chujio nodded. "Prince Charming, then before your master has any news, I will temporarily stop cultivating. If I level up again, maybe the strange grass will grow another leaf. At that time I will really choke on my farts." Di Biming nodded. "What you said makes sense. Let's not cultivate for the time being." After this incident, Di Biming had already thought things through. If the black thing is weak, so be it. Worst comes to worst, I will send a few more people to protect her. As long as she's alive, it's better than any other thing already. Yun Chujio continued with a smile. "Prince Charming, didn't you say that you would get someone to buy all the storybooks that I like and give them to me? Quickly send someone to buy them. It will be good for me to pass the time." Di Biming nodded. "And Feng, go to Spirit Radiance City right now and buy all the storybooks that little Joe likes." And Feng agreed and left with a hopeless expression. When he thought about how people would perceive him when he buys those storybooks, he really wanted to die. Chapter 558. What birthday gift did you give me during lunch? And Feng came back. "Miss Joe, here are the books you wanted." Yun Chujio took it and flipped through it. She was very satisfied. "And Feng, your taste is not bad. You picked the ones that I like to read. It seems that you are a kindred spirit." "Kindred spirit? Kindred spirit, my foot." The people in the shop looked at me as if I was a pervert. Most importantly, these storybooks were all paid from my own pocket. You didn't even give me a single spirit stone. From that day on, Yun Chujio once again lived a carefree life of playing with cats on the East Peak and walking dogs on the West Peak. Di Biming no longer forced her to cultivate. Every day she would only eat, drink, and play while reading storybooks. However, for some reason, Yun Chujio felt guilty for wasting her time like this. She laughed at herself in her heart because she was in such a battered state, so why was it that she felt uncomfortable to relax? However, Yun Chujio quickly found a new joy because her 16th birthday was coming up. It was a good opportunity to make a fortune. Thus, from Master Xianyuan to the servants in the Middle Peak kitchen, they were all extorted by this gal. Her little stash was instantly filled. "Prince Charming, tomorrow is my birthday. What birthday present are you planning to give me?" Yun Chujio blinked her starry eyes and asked Di Biming the night before. "You'll know tomorrow. What time is it? Hurry up and sleep. Prince Charming, just tell me. Otherwise, I won't be able to sleep well tonight." "Sleep? I know even if you don't tell me. Are you planning to give yourself to me as a birthday present?" An alluring image appeared in Yun Chujio's mind. Di Biming took off his clothes and tied a bow on his head. He lay on the bed and gestured at her. The more she thought about it, the more wretched she became. She could not help but laugh out loud. "Nonsense. Go to sleep quickly. If you don't sleep soon, you won't be allowed to read your books tomorrow." Di Biming heard Yun Chujio's laughter and could not help but feel a little intimidated. "If you don't want to tell me, then don't. Anyway, I'll know tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to it. Come quickly tomorrow." Yun Chujio mumbled and finally fell asleep. The next evening, Yun Chujio's small courtyard was very lively. Yun Chuzi and the others were there to celebrate Yun Chujio's birthday. They lit a bonfire in the courtyard and chatted while barbecuing meat. Yun Chujio's heart felt as if a kitten was scratching it. What birthday present did the gigolo prepare for her? He still had not given it to her. How hateful. "Little sister Jiao, Big Brother is here to celebrate your birthday." Shui Wuji appeared in front of everyone as he spoke. "Big Brother Wuji, you came at the right time. Come and eat the roast meat." "What about the present you're going to give me for my birthday? Give it to me first lest you forget about it." Yun Chujo stretched out her claws and asked shamelessly. Shui Wuji took out a delicate jade hairpin from his storage ring. Little sister Jiu, I chose this from the blood demon sect's treasury after a few days of contemplation. This is a high-grade spirit tool that can withstand a fatal blow from a 9th-level spirit emperor cultivator. Do you like it? Yun Chuji's eyes lit up. I like it. I really like it. Thank you, Brother Wuji. Shui Wuji saw that Yun Chujo was very happy and could not help but glance at Di Biming proudly. Little sister Jiu, I wonder what birthday present Di Biming gave you? Compared to the jade hairpin that I gave you, which one do you like better? My Prince Charming hasn't given it to me yet. Yun Chujo pouted and said. Seriously, everyone has already given me their gift, but only the gigolo is being nonchalant about it. Was he not going to give her anything? You're tuning in to the Li Mei Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.